You've been chasing your monsters and they've been driving you bonkers, just blinding with rocket launchers of light to blow out they conscious. If you really want to juxtapose and take a darker color with the blush of rose, and then you put it in your ink and watch it go, your mind is always open when your eyes are closed, because you're blind to color and you're blind to greed, blind to all the things that you don't need. And you find a mind and then you plant a seed, then you nourish it a little, let it free. You're building it up, not breaking it down. Wanna give up, keep holding your ground. Turning it up and tap to the sound. Oh, the sound of change.
I can hear it now, the horns are playing the victory sound. I live in the now.
December 2020 from the Troy Lee Design Saloon in Corona, California. Welcome to the Whiskey Throttle Show. Folks, I'm your host, David Pingree. With me, as always, Grant Langston, back from a little abbreviated hiatus there. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
And we have got a motocross legend with us today, Mr. Mike Healey. Welcome to the show.
How's it going, guys?
The Stray Cat. I always liked that nickname. I thought it fit you well.
One of many, huh?
Yeah, one of many. Gunner. You had all kinds of good ones.
Yep, there's been a few.
Your story is crazy and cool, and I, even still to this day, don't know a lot about your GP time. I knew how fast you were here because I was kind of a kid watching you race and win the pro stuff out here.
Even Grant was a kid when I was racing over there, though.
Yeah, but when you left, there was no internet. It was really hard to follow GPs from here. It was tough, and I didn't hear much about it, And
not unless you read Cycle News.
Yeah, and I was kind of busy trying to race on my own, so I just wasn't paying attention much.
You heard about him waving at Stanton one finger at a time.
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah. Let him know he's number one.
As I've prepped for this, I learned a lot of stuff about you, and I'm really anxious to get into specifically that side of it. So, looking forward to that. Donnie, our producer over there, how are you, buddy?
Good, man. I actually have known Mike for a long time, since I was like 15, 16 years old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I was 15 also, in the same era.
Something in that area,
Yeah.
What'd you guys do together?
We actually caused some problems, I think.
We got in a whole bunch of trouble.
Got into some trouble, yeah.
Yeah.
We were out.
We used to run amok all through Costa Mesa, Santa Ana, all that area, Orange County together.
We ran amok, yeah.
Donnie's a bad influence.
We were both pushing each other.
Yeah.
So it was the good old days.
I love it. Well, we got to thank a couple sponsors here. Yamaha's bringing you this show, folks. So if you appreciate it and you're shopping for something with 2 wheels or 4 for that matter, please go check them out and start with them. The Blue Crew, they've got great contingency and amateur support if you're into that. They make a full line of Yamalu products. They've got riding classes, coaches. If you buy a bike, you get a free riding school. You can go demo all the Yamahas. If you get in, ask your Yamaha dealer about that. But they've got these national campaigns where you can ride all these bikes before you buy them. A lot of cool stuff from Yamaha, so be sure to check those guys out. PowerDot, if you're looking for a great Christmas gift, this is it. Very affordable, 20% off additionally using our code Whiskey Throttle when you check out. And this thing is like having a masseuse and a chiropractor and a sports rehab physician in your house all in one. Amazing tool. PowerDot.com, check those guys out. Method Race Wheels, they're bringing you our front-end chatter segment. Fastest wheels in the business, 20% off using our code there too. We get a lot of folks asking about that. They're the industry leader when it comes to wheels. They're top shelf. So people are always going, hey, do you have a discount on those? We sure do. 20% off using Whiskey Throttle as your code. SKDA bringing you our just the coolest graphics in the biz, straight up. So be sure to check those guys out. Follow them on Instagram just to get an idea of what they're doing. But they've got some amazing stuff, brand new stuff out here for 2021. Troy Lee Designs bringing you our Get At Me Q&A. So we'll talk more about some of their stuff later. Specialized, man, if you're looking for a bicycle, again, we try to really align with the best companies in the sport and in their sports, and Specialized is it. They make the best bicycles for the dirt, road, whatever you're looking for. Pro Circuit, if you guys appreciated Mitch Payton's show last week, you get a kind of a sense of where that business came from and sort of the integrity and grind that went into making it what it is. So check those guys out, support them. He certainly supports the sport, as do Dunlop Tires. This is a company that's never left. Through the thinnest economic times, they continued to back Supercross and motocross and amateur racing, and no other tire company can say that. And so not only have they won every single championship in professional racing for the past decade or more, they also haven't left this sport. So that accounts for a lot. Support those people who really have this sport's back. Nihilo Concepts, Amazing products from those guys as well, and get a free gift over there using the code Whiskey Throttle. So if you buy anything at all, type in that code, and you're going to get something free, a little goodie in there with you. So that's cool. And Seat Concepts, man, we loved having those guys out and chatting with them and learning more about their products. If you ride in weather that's very wet, or even if you washing your bike a lot, they've got seats that are fully waterproof, so your foam doesn't break down, doesn't get soggy. That's really a big deal for, like I said, people who ride in inclement weather, back east where it rains a lot. So check them out. And all that stuff is custom, man. They make some rad stuff. And OGO Power Sports, get over and check those guys out for any of your gear bag needs, travel bags, backpacks, hydration kits. They make it all, and it's the best stuff in the biz, period. Bottom line. So let's get on to our Method Race Wheels front end chatter. A couple of things here. You know, they're making the lightest, strongest, fastest wheels in off-road. Just continue to win everything in Baja and everywhere else that it matters. So if you're looking for not only the best performing wheel, but the coolest looking wheel, Method Race Wheels has got it. First of all, let's talk about the Barsha to TLD thing. You know, it's kind of been rumored and talked about, and people kind of knew it was coming, but it's official. He's on the gas. You've seen the videos of him riding, and the chatter is he's really comfortable. He looks really good on that bike. The gas looks trick. I didn't doubt that Maki and Troy and the guys here at TLD would make it look good, but man, it's sure a good-looking combo.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was definitely, I think, a really smart move if you're, the KTM brand, because now I was actually counting, there's quite a few brands under the roof if you throw in like Huseberg and is it Beta they also acquired. I mean, they're taking over Europe.
Wow,
and,
I didn't know they owned Beta.
So there's like 5-6 now brands.
Yeah, I think they got Beta as well, yeah.
Under the same roof.
Husqvarna.
Yeah. So if you're the KTM family, to me, I think it was genius. You go to Troy, you say, hey, think about it, Gas haven't sold a bunch of units. They don't have a bunch of money laying around. This is coming from a different department. So you get TLD involved. You help the image of the brand. You make it kind of cool. Like you said, it looks good. People like it. Bosch is obviously someone I think is a good fit for that team right now as far as just being a hyped rider. I think he can do well. Be curious to see how his results are compared to where he was before. But the chatter is he looks good. I've heard from people that have been around at their test track down in Murrieta, and they said, he really gravitated to the team, the bike very well, very quickly. And I think it's going to be fun to watch. The more competition, to me, the merrier. I mean, we've lost some teams, so at least we haven't gained another team. We've gained another brand, another manufacturer. So it's some positivity going into Supercross.
That's big, though, bringing another manufacturer in.
It changes over the years. You see the ebb and flows of the brands, and because who knows? But there's obviously been a lot of chatter, and it could all just be rumors about maybe Suzuki possibly not being in North America down the road. That could be 100%, nonsense. But if that happens, it's nice to know that there's someone potentially there to fill the gap, fill the void.
Well, also, in Barsha's, I mean, he's the only top-tier guy to change brands, right, this year. There's no other top-tier guy.
Yeah, that's right. Because Ferrandis is still on Yamaha. Everyone else basically stayed put.
We don't know about...
Neither do I.
Yeah.
We don't know.
I draw a blank.
We don't even know.
But good point. Valid.
Many years of racing there.
Lock that one in the vault.
Yeah.
We definitely don't know.
We don't know.
You don't know what you don't know, Donnie.
It's a mystery. But he's the only guy, the only top tier rider to switch brands.
And the guy we don't know about.
I think the good thing about it, if you're going to have a company that's buying up all these brands, and to me it seems odd. I guess I kind of get it. You're just buying market share, but I'm glad it's a company like KTM that is so passionate about racing, because look at the efforts they're putting in Europe, here with the Husky team, with the KTM team, with the TLD team. Like, they just keep
MotoGP.
I mean, they love racing, and so that's good
cool
for us.
I mean, because I was part of the team over in Europe and became part of in-house. I mean, literally with Mr. Trunk and Pulse and all that stuff, and got to sit at their dinner table and eat dinner with them and stuff. So they are really cool people, and just to see them get bigger and bigger and bigger, it's neat. It's really neat.
They like
see
to win. They like to prove people wrong. Like, it's in their DNA. It's just to go out there and
And this
challenge.
and this bike's going to be sold at a different price point as well, right?
Slightly cheaper. Like, it has different triple clamps. There's just a couple things.
Right, and they're just trying to make it a little different.
Yeah.
It seems like so.
But the thing is, I think it looks better than the Husky or the KTM. Like just the red
it
and
looks
the way
good.
It looks good.
Yeah, it's just sharp looking.
I think they're going to
Catches your
sell.
eye.
Yeah, they're going to sell a lot.
Like
of them.
Grant, I have also heard that Barsha is ripping on the thing.
Yeah, that's come from several. I mean,
I've heard it too. Yeah.
several good sources. So
I feel
My sources are probably the same as his sources.
well, the thing is, he just looks comfortable on
Yeah,
it. Where
right.
at times on last year's bike, he struggled. You know.
Well, you got to remember though, there's a big difference between a Japanese bike and a European bike.
Yeah.
Just sitting on it and feeling it is a big difference.
Yeah.
And you're either going to be real comfortable on that European bike or you're not.
Hey, all
You
three
know.
of you guys have ridden for KTM.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point.
only one of us snapped one in half, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know how many people still think it was me?
I know. Well,
People are like, I watched you when you crashed and the bike snapped. No.
I hate to laugh
Similar.
at Pig's expense, but when he gets up and he wanders around, it's like he doesn't even know where he's at. It's almost kind of funny looking like a
dude,
cartoon.
I was punch drunk, man. I
You
just
were-
fell out of the sky.
Yeah, you were like, you're reaching for your bike, and they're like, wait, this thing ain't.
The only thing with Barsha and the test track and that is, not to take anything away, but so often we hear, oh, this guy looks amazing
I
on a new
know.
bike, new team. So, let's see, because here's the thing. If you go look, Bosch has always been very strong at round one. Obviously, it used to be at Anaheim, which won't be there this year, but he's always started off strong, had some good rides, but he's also had some inconsistency. I'm wondering if this maybe change will help him in that department, being a little more consistent. Maybe the bike works better for him in more areas, or maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But I think, like you were saying, the Japanese and the Austrian bikes are quite a bit different.
Yeah. They just have different feel, like different seat foams and different things. It's just
Different
different.
components.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, team as well, right? So if he gels with the team right away as well,
That's a big difference too.
Yeah.
Because now he's comfortable. It's like going into a new home.
Well,
Yeah.
to me, I just feel like if I think I know what Barsha would like, maybe a less corporate surrounding is probably better for him. And I think at TLD, that's what you get.
Yeah.
It's still an independent team, and there's a little more flexibility. And he likes his wild colors, and I think that
Yeah.
fits in with the whole TLD.
Yeah, he likes his own unique identity, and him being the only 450 rider here at TLD, he's going to get that. You're going to watch.
Oh,
He's
you
going to
gotta
have
have
the
gas, gas.
sickest custom painted helmets. He's going to have really cool looking, unique stuff that's just Barsha's alone. So I think he's going to like that. But
And
I
that's
think
going to
that
make him shine just on top of that because he's going to be in a good mood every time he gets on that bike.
Exactly.
He's going to have new gear and new things,
Yeah.
new helmets. And
I think that Yamaha, when we talk about the issues they've had with the factory 450 Yamaha, the issue always was, what we refer to in testing as track toughness. It might be great, like they'll get it to work great at their test track, but then you go to a different stadium, different dirt, jumps are a little different, and it doesn't work. Okay, we got it to work good in this set of whoops, but now over here they're a little more hard and slick, and now it's not working. You need to find a bike, as you well know, that can work good in any condition, and I think that's been the weakness of that factory Yamaha. Not necessarily a problem with the stock bike, but it sure was
that
with the
Yamaha
race
gets like the best reviews,
reviews, yeah.
out of everybody that rides the bike, but something changes when the factory
Yeah.
gets involved with tuning it a little bit.
And there again, I wonder if the Star Group can do a maybe slightly better job at getting those guys a better feel, whether it's Ferrandis or Plessinger or whoever.
I'm excited to see that if they can make, because I think that change is needed.
That's a very interesting subplot to watch, is how are Ferrandis and Plessinger going to do with this new team? How are they going to be able to get that bike to
Yeah.
Or
work?
does it make any difference at all?
Right.
It could be
Right.
same as what we expected, but be interesting.
Okay, so one more thing to touch on here in the front end chatter. Supercross schedule's out, and it's not complete. They've got maybe like the first half done, 10 rounds or whatever it is, and it's multiple rounds at the same venue. I think there's one that's like a Friday, Sunday, Tuesday or something.
Yeah.
Is that what the opener is, or
Yeah.
something like that? And it's weird, but look, I'm just stoked that they've got races on the books. We're actually going racing for sure. What do you think of this?
I think I've almost gotten used to this new weird world we live in. We're not going to have Anaheim 1. So
Two
it
or
feels
three.
it feels like we're doing that full circle of we're coming back to, it's going to be a year of this COVID lifestyle and scheduling. So I think it is going to be really weird not to have Anaheim 1. since I've lived here for 20 plus years, that was almost as important as New Year's Day, for a lot of people. But it's just, I don't know. I think for a lot of us, that was something we've got to go enjoy, whether we raced or after racing. And it's a great time for the whole industry to come together. You go to Houston and that, well, you're not going to see a lot of those faces. So from a racing standpoint, I think it's not going to change as much because guys, I think, are already a little used to this from, Utah last year and even a little bit of the outdoor schedule. So I think the riders will be a little more used to it. I think just still it's a little hard sometimes as a fan to remind yourself, hey, Tuesday night, got to go and what's the time change and when's
that's going to be the hard part is getting the word out to what day the races are.
Yeah, because your core fans will go and research and find out. But, people that just tend to go, oh, Saturday night, Supercross should be on, might be a little bit bummed to miss it. But
hey, even as a fan, I've had trouble finding it over the years just being hardcore into the sport. So now is it going to make it more
I'm
difficult?
with you on that because I'm the same way. Is if I just find it on the TV, I find it. I'm lucky, but... So I'm the same way. I'm going to have to get it sent to me beforehand so I get to see it.
Well, that one year, I remember before Supercross went to NBC, they had the opener was live on Fox, the Prime channel. Yeah. Then it was Fox Sports 1, and then some were live on Fox Sports 2. And I know some people didn't even have Fox Sports 2, so
there were times it got delayed, and then it would be on Fox Sports 2, and then you'd have to figure out, well, where's it at now?
Oh, it was meant to be on FS1, but a baseball game or something ran late, and then
they switched it.
Go to FS2.
And then they switched it mid-race, and you're like...
Dude, I've even seen it where I caught the second moto on Sunday.
Yeah.
On the next day. So it's tough.
Unfortunately, the reality is we're about as important as lawnmower racing to those.
Dude, those guys are crazy.
Have you been back east? Lawnmower racing's fun.
Yeah.
Those guys get it.
I'm sure it's fun, but
are you trying to say we've slotted behind them now?
Those guys can get it.
For me, I have been to an Anaheim race every year since 1981.
Well, we're all worried about you, Donnie.
I know.
That's
but
what
I'm
we're
saying
mostly
I'm bummed
concerned
that
about.
there's no Anaheim race.
Hey, here's
That's
the thing. If you look at the schedule, the tail end of the schedule is still kind of open. I hope that maybe it'll be a little awkward, but kind of maybe wrap it up in California or Anaheim or something.
Could.
I think that'd be cool. That'd be the silver lining to me if they could do that. And
if they could find a way just to slip at least one Anaheim in there.
Yeah.
Just bring SoCal back into the picture.
What if they're doing there's these talks now from airlines and different things saying, and what was there's Live Nation or somebody was saying to attend any event you're going to have proof of vaccination.
Ticketmaster said it.
What if Feld goes that route?
Well, I'll be missing a race then.
I don't think I'm interested in getting that vaccination. Not away.
I don't want a third eye and be missing an ear.
What are you guys' thoughts on that? You guys anti-vaccinations? What do you think?
What do I need a vaccination for? I don't
protect yourself from this little cold.
The cold hasn't killed me yet, so what am I worried?
Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
I don't know. I think maybe it's growing up in South Africa, that mentality. We didn't have as many vaccinations they do in the U.S. So I'm a kind of person, I prefer to rather get something and have your body build some immunity over it. But
that's how we were designed.
Your body becomes tough.
It's going to be a very delicate topic because there's people that feel pretty adamant one way or the other. Like, what do you mean you're crazy not to get it? And then on the flip side, people are like, what do you mean? I don't want... You can't tell me there's no long-term effects. We've just started studying this.
Well, here's the thing. I say, if you want it, go get it. And then you don't have to worry about whether or not I got it.
Right, exactly.
Because you're protected then, right? So, we're
100%.
If you want it, get it. If you don't, no big deal.
It kind of reminds me, I went through a little bit of this with after my son and autism, about the whole vaccinations and looking into it that way. And same thing there. Everyone has an opinion. And one of the things I said is, let's just say my kid's the only one that's not vaccinated. What are you worried about?
Why do you care?
Yeah. So,
people just need to keep to themselves and do their own thing nowadays.
Yeah, you do you.
Yeah, exactly.
I like
agree.
that.
Exactly.
Well, hey, that was the Method Racewheels Front End Chatter. Go over to Whiskey Throttle merch right now and pick up your Whiskey Throttle Show stuff. We actually have 5 new designs coming out. Will be first of the year up on the site. Some really rad stuff, so check those guys out. Thanks to Temecula T-shirt printers for putting those together. And Troy Designs did a lot of the graphic design for us, so very cool stuff. Let's get to the show. Mr. Mike Healey. Take us back to the beginning, man. Where did you grow up? Are you always a SoCal boy, like Long Beach, or where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa.
I moved there when I was a year and a half.
Okay.
So I've been in Orange County my whole life.
Yeah.
I bleed orange.
Apparently.
Yeah.
How did you get into riding? What was your first bike? Like, who did you know? How'd that happen?
Oh, let's see. I started riding when my mom and dad got married. My mom and stepdad got married.
Okay.
My uncle had just an old mini bike, one of the steel frames and lawnmower,
What year would that have been? Like 70?
Yeah.
Ish?
God, I was 3 years old, so probably 72, 73.
Okay.
So, yeah.
When were you born?
68.
68.
So the little
Wow.
lawn, and you just cruise it around the yard.
Yeah,
I guess back then there was probably some open land around and stuff.
My uncle, basically, I found it in the garage, asked him if I could ride it, and he said, if you can start it, you can ride it. Well, he pulled the cap off the spark plug. And didn't realize I saw him do it. So he walked out of the garage, and I put it back on and pulled the ripcord. Thing fired right up. So within an hour, I was building jumps and everything.
He's like, shit.
Yeah. now he's stuck watching me in the backyard all day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that didn't go according to plan.
No, not for him it didn't. For me it did.
You remember how fun that was, the first bike you had? And just a simple little oval track with a little jump or something.
Hey,
You'd ride it all day.
It had those metal brakes. It was just a metal pushing against the tire.
Against the back tire.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's high performance.
Yeah. Yeah, no suspension at all. Just a big fat foam seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good travel right there.
That's
3 inches of foam.
Real good.
So how did it advance from there? When did you get into racing? And
God, right away. I mean, basically, my dad went out and got me an Indian 50.
yeah.
Like, as soon as he saw I could do that, he quit riding for himself and bought me a 50 and said, let's go. And
Did he race?
he was a local pro.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was a local pro that rode for the Husky dealership around here. And he couldn't support me and him doing it.
Yeah.
Just a construction guy.
Yeah.
So, as soon as he got me a bike, I took off.
That was it.
Yeah, I mean, I was riding a Pee-wee before I could ever ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
I was out at the track racing.
I think that's funny because I was the same way. I learned to ride my Weisinger before I could ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
It's just a little more complex to pedal, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know either. I just
I was the other way around, but I think it was just because of timing. The first time I got to a dirt bike, I was already 5, but I'd been pedaling since I was at least 4.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, I guarantee you you look at how little kids are on those stay cyc bikes right now. I
Yeah.
guarantee you they can't ride a real bicycle, but they'll
probably
buzz
not
around that.
because they don't know how to pedal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you spent most of your youth in probably Saddleback, Carlsbad, like those were your spots?
Gosh, there was Saddleback, Escape Country, OCIR, Ascot, Corona. I mean,
You were doing them all.
That was a lot, huh?
We
Every time
used
we
to
hear
be
about
able to get at least. Well, I mean, we could race almost 5 days a week.
Yeah.
5 days a week.
Yeah, you could. I think Monday was the only day that we didn't
Monday
race.
was no racing.
Because we had
still blows my mind every time I hear these
Ascot was
stories.
Wednesday night. Thursday night was OCR.
Yep.
Friday night was Corona. Then SMX on Saturday.
Yep.
And then Anywhere on Sunday. Indian Dunes a lot of times.
You know what I don't hear a lot of is Deanza. Like when guys
Deanza came in at the end, like
Okay.
kind of the late 80s, early 90s it came in. After Saddleback closed and all that stuff shut down. It just, for Orange County, it was a drive.
Right.
And it wasn't here that long. Deanza was not like
It's been there forever.
No,
It
but
really
I'm
has.
saying like in terms of knowing about racing and stuff there, it really wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't publicized or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I remember it being there in the 70s. It was there.
Remember we used to go ride in the hills behind there too,
Oh, yeah.
and those things were Razorbacks. And
Oh, yeah.
Ken lost a bike down.
I sent him down. He tried following me on one of the Razorbacks,
Yeah.
and he went down the cliff.
Yeah, he went down the cliff.
Like
Did you ever
200
recover it?
feet.
Yeah, it was beat up though, dude.
It was down about 200 feet. Just
it was
straight
destroyed.
Down. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He didn't get hurt?
Oh, he went one way and the bike went the other way.
Yeah.
Because it was right on top of a razor. I mean, it was only as wide as a tire.
Yeah.
And if you slowed down or looked down, you're screwed.
Well, there's a
Does make
trail
me
like that
nauseous.
in Retchie
Roma.
Canyon
Is it Retchie?
It's Retchie, called the Trail of Death.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Scary.
The Albrechts had built that.
Hey, when you drive through the Badlands, like in between Gilman Springs Road and then Beaumont,
that's right.
When you look off to the left, you could see some of the Razorbacks.
There is a Razorback
yeah.
out there. That's the one I was talking about. And it's the same thing, like you said. You look down, and my knees were wobbly. You just like go straight and keep speed.
Yeah, I never looked. I went through about fourth gear wide open. Never looked. I just went for it.
Those were good days, man. So who was kind of your crew, like, or competitors at that time? Who were you racing with and hanging out with?
Well, I really, the people I hung out with weren't people that I raced against.
Oh, okay.
You know, I had friends that I hung out with.
So it wasn't those were outside of racing and then racing.
Well, they raced and stuff, but they just weren't against me.
Oh, okay.
You know, racers, I mean, I grew up with like Bobby Moore and Mouse McCoy and Eddie Hicks and Larry Brooks and
that's some talent right there.
You know, I mean, back in the 80s, there was 10 to 15 guys on the line that would win.
Yeah.
You know, you had to know how to ride.
Yeah.
And I think what made our riding different from the guys today is on an 80, they let us ride 125 Pro.
Oh, really?
So at OCIR or Ascot or Saturday Saddleback, I'd go up there and ride 125 Pro on my 80.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, and go bang bars with the big boys.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that would probably toughen you up pretty quickly.
Real quick.
Because no one on 125 wants to get beat by a kid on 80.
And this is back when my dad, basically, if I complained that the track was rocky, I couldn't wear a face mask on my goggles. You know,
Dad was a hard ass, huh?
If I got hit by rocks in the hands, he took my gloves off. If I got blisters, I had to go rub sand in them. So, yeah.
Wow.
So, you didn't say nothing. You just took it.
Dad was tough.
Yeah. So.
Well, construction will do that to you.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to hear people bitch. No. He probably hears it all week.
Hey, I remember you guys got in a fight at Carlsbad because you cut all these holes in your jersey, and he got all mad at you about it. I was like, oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't understand that I got all the free shirts and everything, and, 100 degrees out there trying to race, so I just, cut it up.
Yeah.
He just screamed and yelled at me.
That was before vented gear.
Yeah.
Well, that's what even in the 90s, that's what everybody did.
We always cut
Swiss
it up.
cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
Cut the
Well, yeah, I started doing that. I started cutting the sleeves off. Gosh, back in probably late 80s, and a couple guys started doing it. Well, I was fully tatted. I fully sleeved, at 16 years old, and I'm sitting on the line at Supercross, and McGrath's got his up to his elbows. So do I. And they come over to me, and they're pulling me off the line. They're telling me I couldn't race because I'm, like, well, what? You guys racist or something because I'm colored? They're like, what do you mean? I said, well, I'm multicolored. Come on. But yeah,
that seems like that happened to you a few times throughout your career.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to it. So those guys you were racing with, who were the guys you were hanging out with? They raced too, but they just weren't pro level.
I mean, there was guys like Donnie and Ken and stuff like that I hung out with. But I mean, basically, like one of my best friends growing up, was Mike Ness from Social D.
Oh yeah, I heard that. And the G&R guys, didn't you hang out with them quite a bit? You got to be friends with somebody there?
I was sponsored by him for 5 years when I was racing over in Europe.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
How did you know Mike Ness? Just lived near him?
Lived near him, grew up around him. I mean, we were in the same car club together and stuff, and just good friends.
Cool guy?
Yeah.
Car club?
Yeah. Impala club. I had a 61 Impala back in the day. Slammed on the ground.
As long as I can remember, he had like we were just talking about a Nissan hardbody. I mean, it would not make it up a driveway. There's no way.
So slammed.
It was so slammed, and dude, you could hear him coming from a mile away. Just, as long as I can remember, when he was driving, it was something all the way on the ground.
Well, before I was old enough to drive, so I guess it would have been, it would have been early 90s, late 80s, but there was like lowered mini trucks were like the thing.
Yeah.
There was magazines dedicated to like, wasn't there like mini
trucking?
Yeah.
They can buy everything out of it.
And if you didn't have a couple of 12 subwoofers, you were a bitch. Like your whole car had to just vibrate.
Yeah, then it went to 15.
Yeah.
Then you were really cool.
That's funny.
I even lowered my truck over in Europe.
Did you?
Yeah.
Were they like, what the hell's this guy doing?
They couldn't believe it. It was one of those Volkswagen Caddies, the Volkswagen trucks. And we got the back end slammed down and everything, and we couldn't get the front end. So I just got the torch out and just heated up the coils and just had my mechanic sit on the hood.
No
And
way.
Swear to God. My coils just did a big U in them. I just, all right, hosed them off. And that's the way we drove it. Just like a pogo stick.
That's hilarious. So at what point did you start winning and kind of catching the eye of some sponsors? And was it R&D, Suzuki, the first kind of started helping you out, or who was helping you out at first?
Yeah, it was pretty much R&D. I was racing against Glenn Dickinson, the youngest one, at 5-6 years old. And, I mean, they brought me in and took me under their wing, basically. Which allowed me to ride the very first 50 that brought into America, Suzuki 50 brought in. I did all their testing on their 80s for them. I did everything. So,
and that was a good partnership for you because those bikes were amazing.
My whole amateur career, except for 2 years, I was on Suzuki's.
Yeah.
And
R&D
all through R&D, they took care of everything. You know, I was like one of their children.
Yeah.
You know, I was just grew up in their house in Norwalk almost. So
is that right?
Yeah.
And Dean's still out there doing it.
He still lives in the same house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they bought almost every house on that street.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. They literally, every time someone moved out of a house, they buy it.
They literally owned the entire block.
Yeah.
I remember the houses across the street they owned.
Like 10 houses.
Because his brother lived across the street.
Yeah.
And then they owned almost every house on that block.
So they just rent it? Like they would just own it and rent it out?
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with them. They just buy them and use them for storage.
Dude, it's probably
Their
worth,
shop was in the back of their house.
Yeah.
that whole block, that's got to be such expensive real estate
Yeah.
now. Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
But still to this day, that guy can tune, especially a two-stroke. He's
Yeah.
like a wizard.
Oh, yeah. The guy's amazing. I mean, probably the fastest 125 still to this day that I've ever ridden was the one he made for me. The first 125 that I ever rode when I got on big bikes. And it was crazy. I mean, it was stupid fast.
Yeah.
It's scary.
So you were doing all the amateur nationals through your time kind of on 80s. What amateur nationals, like all of them? Were you going? Loretta's wasn't around back
There
then.
was Loretta's, but coming from the West Coast, that wasn't big for us.
Yeah.
We did the anime stuff. You know, we did
World Mini,
Ponca, and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
A couple of people went to Loretta's, but it wasn't for me. I wanted to come home and go to the beach.
Yeah.
You know, get my mini truck and go cruising.
But you were winning championships on 80s, yeah, all the way through there. And then when you moved up, same thing, 125s, you jump right into winning as well?
Well, gosh, yeah, I kind of did. I mean, first thing I did was go my first 125 race period. I went to Saturday Saddleback and rode, you know, kind of the 125. It wasn't pro. They had like an open class that you could run with all the pros, but they didn't pay you.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what tested me to see where I was at. And everybody was there. I mean, Ward, O'Mara, all these guys were there. And I smoked both motos.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I kind of had to go pro.
I don't think that people really understand how fast you were. You know what I mean? Because your time here as a pro was quick and you were gone.
Yeah. Well, we started doing the Golden State, and I think it was like January. The first weekend of January was our first Supercross race. I mean, I turned 16 in November, so January I was at Anaheim, and I'm the first 125 to ever win in Anaheim Stadium.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What year was that?
1985.
85. Okay.
That was the first year they brought 125s in.
And that was Bob Moore won that title?
Yeah, he beat me by 2 points.
Yeah.
Because
we were talking about that on one of the shows because we went back and looked at how close that was.
I broke my femur play riding like a couple of weeks before the last round. So I sat in Pasadena in the stands and watched him take the title.
That hurts.
That's brutal.
Yep.
So you had a lead going into that?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yep.
And what did he have to finish?
Yeah, I don't know. I just probably had to just qualify.
Yeah.
I just so.
Dang it. That's tough. So when you made that jump to pro, you were still Suzuki, factory Suzuki?
Yeah. Yep.
And Dean still doing your bike?
I went basically my last year on 80s in 84. I went back to Suzuki. I did 2 years with Honda and helped them develop the 80 and stuff. It was me, Bobby, and Mouse were on the team.
Okay.
On Hondas. And I went back to Suzuki's for that last year because I had the number 1 plate. Plus, they gave me a contract on the big bikes. They gave me started with a 2-year deal, but I made it maybe halfway through the first or second year and got shit canned real quick. So
yeah, so we'll talk about that. So my notes here in '85, you won the first 2 of the 3 races, and then like you said, you got hurt and Bob took it. But you were still in the points lead as that series wound down.
Yeah.
Who else was in that championship hunt? Remember?
Let's see.
Maybe Donnie could look that up just to see who else was in it.
I think Brooks was in it. Maybe Bader Monet was in it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people there.
Donnie was Schmidt.
No, Schmidt's
was
a couple
later.
years behind me. Yeah.
What about Willie?
Willie was behind me.
2 years behind. A year
Yeah.
behind. Yeah.
Maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
So, trying to think. Gosh.
Tishna.
No, he was
also
behind me.
afterwards. Yeah.
So
I'm a
then
couple years old, I guess.
that first year in '85, you did do the whole nationals that summer. It was
Yeah.
'86 where you got let go.
Yeah.
How did the nationals go for you in '85?
I think I was like 5th or 6th overall.
Okay, so you were super competitive.
Yeah.
Get any podiums?
No, not yet. I didn't get on the podium yet, but right there, I mean, I was going up against guys like Kehoe and Holland. These guys were already,
seasoned veterans.
These guys were in their 20s already. They're men.
Yeah.
Dude, when I won Anaheim, I wasn't even 5 foot tall yet.
Really?
I wasn't even 100 pounds yet.
When I was a little guy,
So you guys have more than one thing in common.
When I won
2 guys
Anaheim,
next at 5 foot tall that won Anaheim. That's impressive.
when I won Anaheim,
Suck it, Gio.
Okay.
yeah, I was 4'11", 98 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just a little guy.
That's hilarious. You were still growing.
Yeah,
All right, so was your relationship that year good with Suzuki?
yeah.
And who was it? Was it Tosh and those guys still?
Yeah,
Or who was
Tosh was there, and Alexander, Pat Alexander
Okay.
was the team manager.
Yeah.
That was before Buzzard came in. Mm-hmm. So
Okay, so going into '86, your contract.
Billy Frank and Greg Zitterkoff.
There you go.
And
Billy Frank from Michigan,
Billy Frank from Michigan.
not Arizona. He busted my balls for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are some of the guys.
Okay. So going into '86, how were you thinking? All right, I'm going to win it this year. Like I had it last year.
Well, they bumped me up to 250s for Supercross.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, I got kicked out. They tried kicking me out halfway through the first year. They tried getting me out of there saying I pointed out.
You're 16.
Yeah. First year in Supercross, halfway through, they tried getting me out. And then
This
Suzuki
continues the theme.
Suzuki went to bat for me and said, there's no way. It's first year. You can't do it. You know, he's already started this. And so I finished the year off. And next year, I'm sitting on line with 250s.
Oh,
I'm
my
sitting there with
gosh.
men. And I'm like teeter-tottering on the bike, barely touching the ground. You know, the thing was so big and fast, and I head shaking going down straightaways. And
Yeah. This is a really common thread. I only laugh because we hear any guys from that era, it's like
Everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, after 1 year I was pointed out, you know, or I did a 250 race and it got me so many points
Yeah.
I pointed out.
Yep.
This is probably the 6th, 7th time we've heard this.
At least.
Yeah.
What a travesty, man. Like
And the whole second year before everything went down with Suzuki, I mean, I got injured probably 2 or 3 times already, you know.
on the big bike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just that year the 250 sucked. You know, they had that full floater rear end and stuff, and it just compressed and unloaded so bad that every time I tried to seat mount something, I was going over the bars.
Yikes.
So, yeah, I broke my wrist, collarbone. I broke everything that year. So, sat out.
So Supercross was like basically a wash.
Sat out a lot.
And then did you drop back down to the 125 for outdoors?
I was supposed to, yeah.
Okay. And now this is where things went sideways, right? You showed up with like a red mohawk or something?
Well, they pulled me in. I had a mohawk for a long time, but Tosh pulled me in. A couple other guys, Hide and stuff, pulled me into the factory and told me tired of the blue mohawk. They want me to cut my hair and stuff. And I just kind of laughed, going, "You gotta be joking! Come on, it's a haircut. Nobody sees it. You know, it's under my hat all day." And I thought they were just joking. You know, I didn't take it serious. And I show up at Gainesville, fucking my box man never unlocked.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, mechanic goes, all right, take your hat off. Took it off and go talk to Alexander. Bike never came out of the box man. I was done.
Wow.
Fired right there. Yep.
Fired for a haircut.
Yep. So, yeah.
So what'd you do?
I ran around the pits all before practice, seeing if I could bum somebody's bike. I was going to go out. I was so pissed. I was going to borrow a Honda or something, go out there and show them.
Yeah.
And Alexander went around and talked to all the team managers and just told them that I wouldn't play, I wouldn't cut my hair and all this stuff, and I was bad. And so basically he blackballed me.
Huh.
Nobody would help me out that day, and came home, and the only thing I could get a ride with was Kajiva. That's how Kajiva came around.
Okay, Dave Osterman.
Yep.
You, Dubach, and Whiting, right?
Yeah, it started that way, and that's the way we started. Yeah.
And how did that go? So you just raced the nationals for them, or how did that?
Well, it started off. The three of us went to do the Golden State.
Okay.
And that was a trial period to see who was going to do the nationals.
Okay.
And I think the deal with Dubach, I think Theed screwed that all up.
Yeah,
I think Theed stepped in and really got involved when he shouldn't have, and kind of really gave Doug a bad side to it, and got Doug kicked out of the team because of that.
Yeah.
And I outperformed AJ, so I got the ride.
Okay.
And they took me off to the nationals.
So that was going into the 87 season then, must have been?
Yeah, 87 was, we did that on the Kajivas.
And how'd that go that summer?
Not bad. I mean, for having a bike that literally we didn't have any spare parts.
Yeah.
I mean, I was riding a bike that had a fiberglass rear fender and side plates on it.
Really?
Yeah.
That came that way?
No, it was pre-production.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we didn't even have plastic for it yet. So
did the bike handle and perform decently well at least?
Yeah, it was good. It was a good bike.
Because Kajiva is one of those brands in motocross I feel like it had a small window and you don't hear a ton. I know in Europe I think Healey Rinaldi raced it a couple of years, and I know you did.
When I came over to Europe in '88, there was two brands that were fast, and it was either the Kajiva or the KTMs. And on the Kajiva team, when I came over there in '88, it was Massimo Contini and Strybos.
Oh yeah.
And I was like the third guy, and they brought me in, basically because Strybos and Bale were going at it, and they kind of wanted me to be a blocker for them.
Oh really? Bale was Honda?
Yeah, Bale was Honda, and it already started. The season already started. So.
Oh, they brought you in mid-season.
Oh, like the third race.
Okay.
They brought me in. Third, fourth race, they brought me in.
Before you left, did you ever go race in Arizona, Canyon Raceway, with that Kajiva? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Because I swear I remember seeing you, and it was the first time I'd ever seen a Kajiva.
Yeah,
and I
Canyon
was like,
is, I'm trying to think,
it's got that like a big hill in it, big drop.
Is it where they race at nighttime, or?
They did have night racing there, yeah.
Okay, because we were doing 2 qualifiers for Ponca, and one was at Blythe.
Yeah.
There's a track right there in Blythe that's up on that plateau.
The old Kyle Fleming Memorial, yeah.
Exactly, and then the other one was,
Okay. Yeah, I swear I remember seeing you. Sort of a little... I remember you were in line, and I remember getting out of my truck and going and looking at your bike, like, what is this thing?
Hey, that Blythe track is open again.
Is it really?
Yes.
It's awesome.
My mom lives
I was gonna say,
2
is your
miles.
mom
Yeah, she lives
down the
right
street?
there.
Dude, that track was fun, huh?
Hey,
Yeah, I liked
good
it.
sandy dirt.
Hey,
really
I
fun.
just wouldn't suggest going middle of summer, right?
No. It's not good in the middle of summer.
And don't do any burnouts.
Burnouts?
I got arrested for a burnout.
In Blythe?
In Blythe. I got literally arrested and pulled into jail at 17 years old for doing a burnout. There's winds blowing and stuff, and it's out in the middle of the desert. Dude, I had that lowered truck and just took off from the light and went, lit me up and arrested me. Exhibition of speed.
Blythe is, believe it or not, it's a
felony offense. No
What?
joke.
Is that
no
right?
joke. Exhibition of speed. I was in the jail for 2 days. They take me into court, and the judge is going, okay, how fast were you going? 2 miles an hour, maybe? Well, what happened? I said, broke the tires loose. He goes, get out of here, dude. Exhibition speed is like 120 plus or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
So
dude.
it's just like a dick cop.
Yeah, it's just a prick.
But Blythe is really a cowboy town. It's really ho-dunk. It's all farming. It's really a cowboy town. It's crazy. Hey, didn't Ron Turner also ride a Kajiva, like test and stuff too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did before I got on him. I think he did, yeah.
There was some little Italian guy that smoked and he...
My mechanic, Morielli.
Yeah.
The guy was wide open. He did all the testing and
He
stuff.
would ride it through the pits, like wide open, up and down.
I remember hearing
with a
stories of
cigarette hanging out of his
around
mouth.
the parking lot at Kajiva. He flying around blind corners. Oh my God, that was crazy.
All right, so through Kajiva, you went over to Europe. They're the ones that brought you over after you had been riding for them here. Or how did the move to Europe happen?
Well, at the end of the season here, Kajiva, the first time they brought me over to France, and it was because they wanted me to block for Strybos.
Okay.
With Vandenberg, because the title was coming down between Strybos and Vandenberg. So Kajiva wanted me to get in the middle there. Well, I beat both of them, both motos. I didn't have to worry about it.
Okay.
So,
Where was the GP?
in France, in Bordeaux,
Ah, okay.
same place they had it in '91, 250s. In 91.
We actually did some testing down there. I know that track.
Yeah, I
cool
love
track.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, float over those hills
Yep.
and that.
Real nice track. Beautiful.
Typical French track,
in
but
the
beautiful.
grass, everything. Just love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
So did you won both motos?
I beat them
or you
both.
beat
motos.
them, okay.
Yeah, I was.
That was when the Dutch were strong.
Yeah.
It's taken, almost 40 years to get back there.
Yeah.
Now they're strong again. But isn't it funny to see the ebb and flows?
Yeah. Yep.
You go look there for a while. It was just Dutch and Belgians just seemed to rule.
Yeah, I mean, then the French stepped in because they were doing all the Supercross stuff. They were having the Supercross series and all that stuff. So, I mean, the French came in for a while and, they took off and did their thing. And I don't know. And I think then the Americans came in and we just kind of took advantage of everybody's dollar over there, everybody's money, and kind of left.
There was a wave, if you go look.
Yeah.
Seemed like there was like Lackey and a couple people went, but then there was a bit of that wave when you had Schmidt, yourself, Moore. I know I'm forgetting several people, but
Well, Bobby got there, I think, 2 years before I did. Because he did.
He was there in '86. He went right over.
He did 85, and then I think he was over there in 86. Mm-hmm. And
I always thought we need to get him on to see, because I always thought that was odd. He won a Supercross championship. He was good enough. He was an amazing rider, and then it's like he wanted to go there.
I think
At
he
that
wanted to
time-
go, but he didn't grow either. He was taking growth hormones and stuff like that. So a lot of the teams here weren't looking at him because he was still really small.
also I'd be curious to ask those guys, but correct me if I'm wrong, at that point in time, wasn't there potentially a little more money to go to GPs and then racing in the
A lot
US?
more money.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, a
back,
lot more money.
Back then, I mean, even if you did those international races, these guys were getting 5,000 US
No.
cash show up, maybe
Well, I
more
wouldn't.
sometimes.
After my first year, I wouldn't show up for an international race for anything under 20,000.
To go to a motocross race and win or lose.
Just to have your name in the book.
Because they were getting
just
big
that.
crowds, big
Yep.
sponsorship, a lot of cigarette and alcohol money.
People start showing up, camping at the track on Wednesdays.
Motorhomes everywhere.
Yeah, crazy. 100,000 people at a race, just cheering, having fun.
And Chesterfields and Marlboros nonstop. Just supporting the riders, man. Just supporting the sport.
Yeah.
And then the beer tent's out of control, and then all the the Euros just on noise like crazy. Oh my God!
They are a passionate bunch about
Yeah.
their racing.
When you were kind of growing up and turning pro, how did you look at your like Grand Prix racing? Was that sort of still a pinnacle, or was it kind of switched more to?
Costard is still my hero.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the guy that has always been the god for
The man.
motocross. Yeah,
Sure.
And I got to meet him a couple times when I was young as an amateur. He showed up at OCIR one night when I was riding like 60s and met him there. And then when I was on Hondas testing, he was out there testing the 500s. And so I got to meet him there. And, so going to Europe was a big thing for me.
You were stoked on it.
Yeah. I looked forward to it. It was weird that I stayed because I wasn't planning on staying. I was only going over for 2 weeks.
Okay.
I literally drove with a buddy to Gainesville and Daytona, and I was going to privateer it and do the outdoors as a privateer, and bought a Suzuki 250 because they had the best contingency program and everything.
Uh-huh.
And after Daytona, some guy from Sweden called me and said, "Hey, I'll give you $1,000 a weekend and your airplane ticket. Come on over for 2 races." Sure, I got nothing to do. I'll take 2 weeks off.
How did those
$2,000.
2 rounds go here? Gainesville and Daytona.
Gainesville, I think I was top 5 in the 250 class outdoor. Daytona, I broke the power valve off. I was leading my qualifier and broke the power valve off. Snapped the arm right off going into the whoops and endoed.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I planned on going over there for 2 weeks.
and where were you living? Where were you based out of?
First year was in Italy.
Okay.
And then from there, I moved to Holland. And I was there for a couple of years and then moved to Belgium for a couple of years.
Whereabouts in Holland? Do you remember?
In Oss.
Oh, yeah.
Right where the
They had a
GP
motocross track there, yeah.
Yep. Right
They always
where
had a Dutch championship 2 years in a row when I was there.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like that place.
That was actually the first GP I ever won, was at that track in Oss.
That track was nice.
Yeah, it was cool.
For Holland, not that sandy.
Yeah.
So it was a good
Light sand.
It was a good introduction into going to the Dutch rounds.
But see, the thing is, it was kind of on a hill.
Yeah.
But that hill was actually a dump site, and they were putting sand over all the trash, so it'd have real soft spots.
When you were there, was it
They had a ski slope, yeah.
Yeah. So they eventually just laid like these mats.
Yeah.
So even if there wasn't
AstroTurf.
snow, you just went down on
It
these
was
like AstroTurf mats.
Yeah.
And went skiing.
Tow rope. They had a rope that they'd tow you up to the top. You'd hang on to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
You'd go
my God.
skiing
Is it
down.
still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to go down it, so we went down it the one time before one of the
Oh,
Dutch,
it's horrible.
Dutch championships.
It literally grabs your skis. I did it a bunch. Just,
I'm sure
Just for the
it's-
heck of it. Yeah.
Nothing like snow.
No.
I mean, if you fall, probably like
It hurts
carpet
more.
burn.
You better be wrapped up.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, but it was on top of just a trash site. So I mean, it
there
would just
get
be like
pockets.
spongy. Yeah. You'd be
Huh.
going, and just all of a sudden the bike would sink.
Biggest hill in Holland.
The only hill in Holland.
It's above sea level, actually.
Okay, so you did the Kajiva thing. Then what did that turn into? That turned into a KTM deal or Suzuki deal?
The first year, it went from there, KTM. I signed with KTM and did...
And what year was that?
I did 89 was my first year on KTMs.
So 88, I'm just trying to get the timing of it right. You went over, did the couple of rounds that you were supposed to do, and then just stayed?
Yeah.
Okay.
I ended up...
How were you doing?
Well, I did just 2 races in Italy. I just did 2 international races.
Okay.
And the second one was in Majura, which is a beautiful track.
Yeah.
And the international race is basically a run what you brung kind of deal. You know, and Majura is a big track, so there's a lot of 250s, a lot of 500s. I ended up borrowing a guy's 125, Honda 125, and podiumed.
Okay.
Both motos on it. And, like, the only person that's ever done that before was Johnny O.
Yeah.
So all these Euros are going, oh, my God, you can run like Johnny, you know.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, they're hitting me up for a ride. You know, and Yamaha out of Italy offered me bikes and stuff to ride. So I went to the first 3 GPs that year on a Yamaha.
Was that Rinaldi?
No, it was just some little nothing
Small team. Okay.
And it was just junk. I mean, literally, after the 3rd round, I took no points. I couldn't even qualify. The bike was so bad.
Oh, man.
And I gave the bikes back. I'm going home. I don't want nothing to do with this. And guys from Kajiva and Hank Toyce from White Power hit me up, and they got me a deal to stay and ride on the Kajivas.
Okay.
But they wanted me to ride, for Strybos.
Oh, okay.
Kind of be, between him and Bale.
You had to let him buy?
Not let him buy, but they kind of, if I had the chance, they wanted me to kind of bump Bale around.
Okay.
Well, I ended up going under a French license and becoming part of the French Federation and stuff, and they all took care of me. Well, Bale became a friend.
Oh.
They started feeding me at the track. I was sleeping in a car because, I didn't have any money or anything. I went over there with $1,000 in my pocket, only planning on staying 2 weeks, making a little bit of money and coming home.
Yeah.
So I stayed the whole year.
Just living in your car?
Well, I ended up having to buy a car. I ended up buying a camper, place to live for me and my mechanic. Had to pay his way around and stuff.
Yeah.
And ended up having $1,000 in my pocket at the end of the year. When it was all said and done.
Break even.
Yep. So, and then went in and signed my contract for KTM the next year.
Did you get a good deal with them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it paid for itself.
Okay. And then that was for 250s?
No, I started off, I did
started
125s.
Okay.
I did 2 more years on 125s.
Okay.
I did, I started 88, 89, and 90 on 125s.
So, sorry, just real quick, bumping back. You never really had any run-ins with Bale where you bumped him or anything because you were...
Not really.
Did he end up winning? Who won that championship?
Bale won it.
Oh, Bale won.
Bale won it. And if he could beat me, he was going to beat me.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything against the guy. I liked him as a person. He was a good guy to me.
Was that kind of your MO, like being kind of a guy where you'd smash people, or no?
I was a big guy over there.
Yeah.
Because in that first year over there, I grew like 7-8 inches quick and put on size.
Yeah.
And now I went from being maybe 110 pounds over there to like 180 the first year.
Wow.
And that, I mean, I was big.
Yeah.
And I was tough. I was known to rollerball a few people here and there.
You were known as the tough guy. I remember that. We used to get the British dirt bike rider in South Africa, and we'd go to the magazine store and flip through. I swear there was always something about you. Win, lose, or indifferent, there was something about you.
Yeah, they loved you. You were a rock star over there. And I'm telling you, I get emails all the time and messages on our Instagram about stories about you. When are you having Healey on? You know, like you made an impression over there.
I have a pretty good following. I got a lot of nice people, friends and stuff that I made friends over there.
Yeah.
So
it's funny to hear that he ended up becoming friends with Bale. To me, it just seems like you two seem like almost polar opposites.
Totally.
So the fact that you guys ended up becoming friends, I think that's pretty cool.
And it's interesting. One thing that's interesting about you to me is like you, especially back then, right? You had this, rock and roll look, man. Tattoos, mohawk. You were intimidating to look at.
Did you have your nipples pierced?
Oh yeah.
I remember that. I know that came across creepy, but I do remember that because I don't think I'd ever seen that on a rider before.
You thought it was hot?
This guy's gnarly. No, I just more thought like this guy's hardcore.
It was a big craze going on here at the time, and
Hey, Chicken did. I think Denny did.
Hey, with him and Bale, it's like sometimes the opposites want to hang out with the opposite, just so you're not.
Yeah. So finishing my thought, you had this look, and yet when you get to know you, you're this really nice, genuine, sweet guy, and so.
And the thing was I was never in a rush to go home or anything because at the races a lot of times I was just sleeping in the front seat of a car.
So you were hanging out.
So I was hanging out. Yeah. I was always the guy at the end of the day in the beer tent buying everybody a beer. And awesome. So my fans became my friends.
Yeah.
And I wasn't any better than them. I'm sleeping in a car just like they are. And
right.
I was just lucky enough that I could turn the throttle.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's cool. You don't see that a lot, but that's interesting. All right, so take me through that year then with KTM, that first year. That was what, 89 you said?
Yeah, 89.
And had you ridden the bike before that, or you said they were good? They were notoriously good at that time.
Well, they were just one of the top bikes finishing that.
Okay.
It was either a Kajiva or a KTM always in the front that year. And then when Bale...
I don't remember
Bale was the only one on the Honda that was fast.
All right.
But it was a works bike. It wasn't... Our works bikes were nothing like a production bike.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you've gone over there and rode a factory works bike, you have no clue.
Especially at that point in time, because they were making
there was no limit.
Huge leaps and bounds.
There was no limit over there of what you could do with a works bike.
Well, JL, didn't you say when you came from your works bike over there to a production bike here, you're like, what happened?
Yeah, it was taking a step back. Like my GP bike was definitely a step ahead of the bike, and it was one of those things, I guess, never really registered that going from a full-blown factory bike, where when we were there, they gave all kinds of options. So if your style is one way, there was typically a frame you would find that you liked and a motor package you'd like. So the bike, you built it around yourself. And I think that's what made those works bikes different, is everyone eventually got a bike where they're like, it's like it was built for me.
Yep. And, being with KTM and stuff, being in-house like that, I literally would go testing with like 10 engineers. And if something didn't feel right, cut it off, change it. Next day was different. It was crazy.
They did spend a lot in R&D.
Yeah.
Especially when I was there as well. I remember thinking, man, these guys are really pumping a lot of money back into development.
Yeah.
So they've been that way from the very beginning, it sounds like. Just very passionate about racing.
They went through a little wave because after he rode for them, they ended up filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah, and that's why actually I went to Suzuki in '92, was because they just ran out of money. So
and you know what? Actually, I found out what actually robbed them of all the money they weren't selling motorcycles. They invested all their money in the mountain bike business.
Yeah,
and they just kind of like Cannondale did the opposite. They went into the bicycle business, and I think it sunk them.
Was that bike? Did it have a red frame and it was white with a red frame?
My 91, my 250?
Yeah.
It was white
With like a mint?
Yeah, like a teal color.
Yeah.
Teal, yeah, but they
But
went
the
through
frame,
kind
the
of.
frame and hubs were red.
Yeah,
I
they
think
were
you're
red.
right. Yeah.
Beautiful
Yeah.
combination.
It actually looked good. It really did. It wasn't bad.
No, Kurt Nicole raced a 500 from that year at Farley, the year I went. And that thing, it looked,
Yeah.
it was kind of so ugly, it was cool, and it hauled ass. Kurt went fast on that thing.
Yeah, the KTM
He
was
rides
a
those old big bikes well.
He does. He
What's
really
his, it's his era.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Still, I don't
500
care.
that year was big and heavy. That was a big bike that year.
Yeah. Okay, so who were you racing against that year in '89? Who were the other top contenders?
That was the year that, let's see, 89.
Pekka Väkänen?
No, he was on 250s. So 89, that was the year that Bale won it.
Okay.
It was Bale and Strybos. And then, let's see, no, it wasn't Bale because Bale was 88. That was the first year that Parker came out of nowhere.
Oh, Trampus.
Trampus showed up, and nobody knew who the
Told
hell
you
he-
another American.
Did you
Nobody
know?
knew-
Did you know him?
No, I had no clue who he was. We show up the first round in Italy, and everyone's, oh, dude, there's another American here. You know who the heck's Trampus? Never heard of him before. And literally, like, I popped my head into his tent and everything. I'm looking, this guy's got, the full mullet going, and he's just redneck as all can be. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to talk to him. I got to get out of here. I don't, and guy could ride.
Yeah.
I mean, he just spanked everybody the first round in Italy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Because I don't remember hearing about him. I mean, I know it was a different era. There wasn't social media and television like there's now, but he was not like a name that was talked about as he was coming up.
He was actually, I think, the year before that, he was like Lyle's mechanic at the races. He was over there helping other people. He wasn't racing.
Wow.
And then, like, did some local races in Italy, and they're like, "Fuck, you can ride."
You want a factory ride?
Yeah. Ferrioli, which was a team off of the factory, took care of him
Okay.
out of Italy, and they
They were around for a while,
yeah.
that team.
So that was your he won his championship?
Yeah, he won that year.
And how did you do? How did it go for you?
I was third that year.
Okay. So
Because my first year I was 5.35. That's how I went, and then 2. So
okay. Did you win some GPs that year?
that's when I started winning. Yeah.
Okay.
So and me and Trampus went bar to bar a few times.
Is that right?
So, yeah, it was good. It was good racing with him.
Did you become friends or no?
Yeah, we're cool. I mean, we don't call each other or anything like that, but we're cool.
Well, I just imagine being the only two Americans over there, you would
Well,
have...
Bobby was there.
Okay.
And then
All these different personalities. You got
Yeah,
the
right?
redneck, you got the soft-spoken little dude,
well,
and
the
then you've
thing is,
got
yeah.
the wild child.
well, in that year it was Trampus was on the KTM out of Italy,
Okay.
and then Bobby was on KTM out of Austria, and then I was on KTM out of Holland. So three completely different Americans were on the same team, and we all showed the track together. And Bobby is the clean cut,
Yeah.
born again Christian. Don't swear, don't drink, don't do this, don't do that. Oh yeah. He quit having sex with his chick, everything. He went way off. He fell right off the map.
Huh.
Yeah, he got weird.
So that was a good year for you, though.
Yeah.
KTM had to be happy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
So
I ended up beating Bobby out that year. I ended up third, and then the next year, I just kind of same team, same everything. Mechanic, all this stuff. It just, I don't know, kind of burnt out with my mechanic.
yeah.
I did okay. I won a few races and stuff, but it was just hard for me to stay. I was on a diet the whole year. Like I was.
Yeah, I would say you're at a 180. That's
Well,
getting
now-
to be way too big for a 180.
Now I was 6'1", 6'2", and almost 200 pounds. I'm dieting to get down to 180.
Jeez.
I'm everything I can do to get down to 180.
Yeah.
So it was tough.
Yeah. So you kind of at that point were you looking at like, all right, I need to find a 250 ride.
Yeah, and I just wanted to get off the bike, off the 125, and when the season was done and everything, I went into KTM in Austria to negotiate my contract again, and they just basically said, we can't do it. We don't have any money for a 250 team. Fired me right on the spot.
Was that right?
Yeah. And
That was 89. And 89?
no, 90.
Oh, 90.
90. And then, so I've
Trying to remember who won in 90. Was that when Donnie won?
Yeah, I think that was Donnie's first year.
Because then 91 was Everts,
I was in 250s in 91.
and 92 was Elbertane. But I think Schmidt got it in 90 on the 125, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah, because for a little while it seemed like the Americans, there might have only been 5 of you guys, but
Yeah.
typically always on the podium in multiple classes.
You did some supermoto too over there, didn't you? And Matei or something?
Yeah, I've done everything.
Yeah, but I heard you didn't like it or something.
I did, we did Supermoto, and it was actually in Paris, in Bercy. Just right
Inside the arena?
No, well, in the streets.
Okay.
And it was like just right downtown Paris, like right out in the streets. So it was crazy.
They did do it in Bercy, though. They did
Supermoto?
Invitational go-karting. They paved down the tunnel and everything. Because I remember watching Schumacher race there. They did Supermoto. They've done
that would be sketchy.
windsurfing, downhill, snow skiing.
I've seen the jet skis.
Jet skis. They've done the whatchamacallit, the trials bikes. They've done trials racing in there.
That's pretty cool.
Where they do the racing, back and forth on trials
BMX.
bikes. Yep.
Yeah, they've done everything in that place. It's pretty nuts.
I wish they'd take the Supercross back there. I know it's smaller, but man, what a cool vibe that place always had.
Yeah, it was
Just
fun.
packed.
It's like
loud.
the crowd.
Loud.
The crowd's
Real
almost
loud.
on top of you.
Yeah.
You know, it's so.
Real loud. Like deafening loud.
Well, if you come in with a World War II air raid siren, you're
Yeah.
going to get people's attention.
Yep. Exactly.
All right. So what happened then the following year? KTM lets you go.
Yeah,
that was the year they were out of money. They were going bankrupt.
Yeah. Yeah, they were going under, and they fired me and everything. And I was flying home, and I stopped in Florida. I knew of a chick in Florida.
Okay.
So I flew there for a couple of weeks to hang out, and her neighbor had a Supercross track, and he had just bought a Honda 250. So it was the first time I jumped on a Honda 250, and I was flying. Well, the KTM importer there in their little town took a liking to me, I guess, because I'd always come hang out, and he'd always give me a bike to ride and stuff, and just kind of, hang in the shop. He called Austria and said he was giving up his dealership if they didn't put me back on a bike. My manager called me that night, said, "You fly back tomorrow to Austria." And I got to make my own contract.
Is that right?
Yep.
To ride 250s then the following year.
Yep. Whatever I wanted. Because basically, I think that guy, from what I understand, that guy basically said he was going to have a Honda dealership if they didn't put me back on a KTM.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Must have sold a lot of bikes.
Yeah.
And so with Austria and Ferrioli, the two of them together came up with what I needed to race that year.
Okay.
So I was riding through Austria, but I was under Ferrioli's kind of flag.
And so that was 90 or 91?
91.
That was 91.
On the
Okay.
250s.
Okay.
And I was the only 250 factory team rider that year.
Okay.
I was basically the only KTM on the track in the 250 class.
Were you still getting the factory support? Like if you needed stuff, they were still helping?
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
help working with you? Okay.
Oh yeah, we were in the factory, at least twice a month. We'd bring our frames in and rotate them because they had the jig and everything. Make sure the frames were straight and everything. Have them repainted and everything.
How was that bike?
When I first got it, it sucked because Glover was over there the year before. Glover was there in '90, and he was trying to design a new bike for them. He's the one that came up with the color scheme and all that.
The toothpaste green and red and white?
He basically made a Yamaha out of that bike. And at that time, the Yamahas sat with a real raked out high front end, and you had to skid and turn with the rear wheel. It was horrible. And so I basically made the bike, what I liked.
Yeah.
I made it to a Honda.
Yeah. And the motors they've always been good, huh? The KTM motors. So it's just a matter of getting it handling and.
Well, I mean, my bike was so fast. My works bike was so fast. We took, first gear out of it. We literally pulled first gear out of the motor. I had a 4-speed. So
You're kidding.
No joke.
So what, all the way down was neutral, and you just
no, it was the same. You run it the same. We just pulled
just one down, 3 up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So take us through that season, 91. How did it start?
Started really bad. I didn't take any points the first three rounds. The first 6 motos, not 1 point.
What?
I was running a white power suspension on it. Because that was kind of what they're selling, their thing. And I had all their works white power stuff on it, and I broke 2 shock shafts, disintegrated 1 set of fork springs, I broke a linkage. I literally, anything to do with suspension, I destroyed.
In 6 motos straight?
In 6 motos. I put a shock shaft through the seat. Yeah, it was bad.
That's scary.
I mean,
I'll give you a wake-up call.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad. It was so bad that literally we went, before the 4th round in Austria, we put a set of Morizaki forks on the front and just an Oline shock on the back without even testing it. Just, here, this is what somebody runs. And I went out and was like 7 seconds faster.
I actually think I remember.
Yeah, I went back to conventional forks and everything.
The kind of, maybe drama is the right word, but it created a big kind of shake-up in the industry, because I remember even seeing that in the magazine when you were on the however you want to say it, Mazochi.
Yeah.
I don't know the right way to say it.
Yeah.
That was the first time I'd ever heard of them.
Yeah.
And I seen it on your bike, and I remember thinking, and there was a story about you switching.
Yeah, it was. As soon as I switched, everything changed. Then
Night and day.
Yeah. I was on the podium right away.
So you were in contention for that title. So you're telling me you went 6 motos with no points?
Yeah, the first 6 motos didn't, not 1 point, and then came down and missed it by 3 points at the end.
You had to be losing your mind after that 6th moto. Like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, it was just unreal. I mean, my hands were just bleeding after the motos because the front end bounced around so bad. I mean, you had to hang on so hard just to ride it. It was embarrassing, you know.
So how many rounds did you win then from that 3rd or 4th round on?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, overall, I didn't win that many overalls. A couple of them, but I won a lot of motos.
A lot of motos and just getting good points.
I had the most winningest motos that year out of everyone.
And who were you competing with?
With Trampas.
Trampas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he was leading it all the way from the get-go.
Yeah.
You know, him and Strybos and those guys were always up there. I mean, I just gradually started coming up.
Okay.
So when we got through in July, we do our little July break. We did the race in Belgium, you know, the GP in Belgium, and that's when I broke into 3rd. Was there? I won the 2nd moto there.
Okay.
With my face all cut up, and
from what?
Crashed.
Oh.
Crashed in practice. Overjumped a jump that wasn't supposed to be jumped, and made a double out of a jump that wasn't supposed to be.
Okay.
And overjumped it by about 20 feet and flat landed and bit through my lip.
Oh.
And I did it myself. 15 stitches and 5 staples in my lip myself.
You stitched yourself up.
Yeah. Yep.
That's some Rambo shit right there.
Well, I mean, because in Europe, you can't go to the hospital and come back and ride on the same day. And so literally I had to do practice and qualifying. So I think it was the Italian team, had a trainer with him. And he literally just walked by my caravan and just dropped needle and thread in my caravan. And I had a Q-tip and peroxide to clean it out, and he dropped the staple gun. So I just went for it.
Yikes.
Yeah.
How was that?
You had to do what you got to do.
Did you numb it with anything or no? Just went for it?
No, I just went for it. Just kind of did it.
Just pretended Dad was yelling at you for not vacuuming the floor?
I'll show you a picture. And I got a picture of what it looks like. It's pretty good.
Oh, you're going to have to send me that so we can post that up. That's nuts, man.
If I get service in here. Yeah. So, yeah.
So, wasn't there somebody on Honda you were racing against that year? Was that Trampas or who was that?
That was Trampas. He was a factory Honda guy that year. And that's where they brought Stanton over for him.
So this is the story I wanted to ask you about. This was in Japan, right?
Yep.
Was it the last round or next to last?
Last round of the year.
Okay,
Yep.
And so Honda brought Jeff Stanton over.
And I was right there, like just moved into like second in points the weekend before or the race before. And basically got it up to after, first moto or whatever, we were almost tied in points.
Okay.
And I was the fastest one on the track by far. I mean, qualifying, I was fast. Starting, I was pole position, all that. So, I mean, I had it. And, first moto, basically, I, hole shotted, ran away with most of it, and then I made a mistake and Stan got by me. Then the second moto, when it came down to it, basically, was come across, his mechanic just had the pit board, take him out. I knew it was coming. So, I mean,
so you were leading the second moto, and Stanton came after you.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't mad about it, because I just ran with Stanton. He was America's best.
Yeah.
I mean, he had just won the Supercross title. He'd won the 250 outdoor title, and then the 500 outdoor title. He's America's best, at that time, and literally just outran him. So I knew that my level of riding had moved up.
Sure.
And we were, half a lap in front of third place.
Why didn't you just let him go? If he won and you got second, would you have still had the title?
No, because I got up after he hit me. We had 2 more laps or whatever to go. I still finished second.
Oh.
So it didn't matter. I had to win that race. Because the difference between first and second was 3 points.
Right.
If I would have won that second moto, I would have had the 3 points and would have been champion.
Now, so there's a rumor you punched Jeff out in the pits out later.
Well, yeah, kind of, I guess.
Yeah, he got a few slaps.
How do you kind of punch somebody?
Well, at first I wasn't really mad at him.
If you're tripping, you got to put your hand out to stop your fall. If someone's in the way,
Well, at first I wasn't really that mad at him, And then my dad came over and got my ear. He's like, dude, your title, you're going to lose a couple million. And then Willie Surratt came over and got my ear. He goes, if you don't go over and kick his ass, I'm going to go kick his ass for you. And then that got me heated. So
you were just like hot after that.
Yeah, but Willie just like kicking people's asses though.
Yeah. So at that point, I just got up and I had my gloves and goggles in my hand, and he was laid out in the dirt, sucking wind, and because it's like 100-something degrees over there. It just sucks. It's so hot.
It got brutal at that.
And so I threw my goggles in his face, and he starts to saying something. I said, dude, you get up. I'm going to level you. And he started to get up, and he got about halfway up, and I just right in on him. Just dropped on him, yeah. So, and then his mechanic, Bentley, started to run around because he was going to jump in and protect his rider. My dad just picked him up by the throat and just get the fuck out of here. Yeah, so let these two have it,
Yeah.
So he literally had like 5 cops around him when it went to the podium.
Is that right?
He had his own security and stuff. And
that was the final round there in Japan?
Yep. So later on that night, I had called back to Austria. Me and my mechanic did, and talked to him in Austria about how the race went and everything. And they said, well, if you want to mess with them, we can send a 500 to the States for you. So I show up at Washougal on one of the Works 500s.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I helped bail in Washougal, so... Yeah.
I didn't know that. What year was that? Same year?
Yeah, 91. Stanton couldn't finish his moto in Washougal. Every time I got next to him, he'd crash. I didn't even have to touch him. I didn't even have to look at him. He did it to himself.
He'd just get nervous and self-destruct. Huh?
Yeah. Well, we pulled in and literally pulled our back then with the box fans. I pulled my box fan right to the back of his.
So you're staring at him?
Yeah, just stared him down. Just shot him dirty looks all day. And then I'd go over and talking to Jean-Michel in the Honda pits.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he loved that too.
Yep.
Oh, man. All right. Well, listen, we're going to let you hunt for that photo. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back to finish up here with Mike Healey.
At Nihilo Concepts, we have a passion for innovation and for motocross. Our mission is to develop parts that will improve the durability, functionality, and the appearance of your motorcycle. We're proud to say that everything from Nihilo is made in the USA in our state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in Stuart, Florida. Whether you race every weekend or you just ride for fun, Nihilo offers high-quality, innovative parts that you just won't find anywhere else. Nihilo offers custom engraved engine covers, one-piece titanium foot pegs, brake tips, internal engine components, specialty tools, frame grip tape, carbon fiber components, and so much more. Check out our website, nihiloconcepts.com, and see for yourself why teams like Red Bull KTM, Rockstar Husqvarna, Troy Lee Designs, and some of the fastest riders in the world choose Nihilo Concepts. NihiloConcepts.com.
I see the sunrise. I wake up in the morning feeling so nice. I burn a couple bowls of the alright. I look out to the world and it's all mine. Yeah, it's all mine. I see palm trees and joints, kids smoke palm trees like ointment. My weed breath is fresh cause I keep my appointments. Now I can finally see like I smoke some DMT. What you think we should sound like? What you think we do at night? Cause we the best of this shit. We made a mess of this shit. We wrecked the rest of all the Wester with the recklessness. If you's a bitch, you might get snatched up like some necklaces. This where the rest of us live. You say we feel like the West Coast. I say we sound like the best of. You say we feel like the West Coast.
Welcome back. That was our Troy Lee Designs timeout. If you are looking to get yourself in some better gear, Troy Lee Designs has their 2021 stuff out. Better get it while you can because it is damn near sold out in a lot of places. Stuff's going fast. And the paint department's open. If you're looking for something, name, number, a full, complete paint job, you can get over here and get back to what TLD originally started as, which is an amazing paint job. And in fact, we were talking at the break, the very first helmets Troy ever painted were for Mike Healey and Goat Brecker. So kind of a cool piece of history you got there, huh?
Yeah, I think it was 83 maybe.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I remember picking up my helmet, and literally it was mine and Goat's. He pulled them out of the oven at his parents' house. That's
Curing the paint in his oven, huh? In his mom's oven.
Yep, exactly.
That's wild.
Nice turkey smelling like paint fumes at Thanksgiving.
You might not want to cook food in that oven anymore, Mom. All right, so we were finishing up talking about the 91 season. You and Stanton having a little beef there. How tough was it for you getting over? Was that emotionally pretty brutal, losing a tie? I mean, listen, you're talking to a guy who also lost the title by 2 points, so for me, it was tough to get over. Were you?
Nah.
Moved on?
Yeah, I moved on. I thought I was going to happen and get the title the next year.
Sure.
You know, I signed with Factory Suzuki, and I was supposed to be the number one rider and everything. And I ended up signing on a team where literally the team manager was my teammate's uncle.
Oh, great.
And they ended up giving me as my second mechanic my teammate's dad. So I was screwed. Basically, by the second round, I was asking to get off the team.
This is the Biaffi Suzuki team?
Yeah. The Gabor's team, yeah.
Yeah.
And I literally just said, keep the money, all this stuff. I want off. Get me out of here. And Ferrioli was giving me my bike back, all this stuff. I was going to go back on my KTMs and everything, and nope. And they said, no, we got you. You're under contract. You got to qualify for every race.
Wow.
Yeah. And every time I got close to the front or close to Stefan, my bike would just get roached. So bad. It was so bad.
And they're not going to listen to you complaining, saying, hey, this is a conflict of interest.
It didn't matter. I mean, literally, they would just laugh. I mean, if I get to a point where I get mad, and I'd go out there and I'd take it out on Stefan. It had nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
He was just racing, and I would go out there and take it out on him. I'd just go run into him. And literally, the team manager would rip me off the track. He would stand in the middle of the track, get back to the truck. I'd go back there, and he would literally, yell at me and stuff.
Sylvan?
Yeah, Gabor's.
Oh, yeah, that's ugly.
And so, the Japs came over towards the end of the year and wanted to. They couldn't figure out why the previous year I was the winningest rider and all this stuff, and then I moved to the Japanese bike. I should be out there doing it, and I changed the bike slow, and literally they put the bike on the dyno and it was like 10 horsepower slower than a production bike. It was slower than stock.
Wow.
I mean, literally my practice bikes here in the States were faster than my works bike.
And what did they say about that? I mean,
nothing they could do. They worked on it while they were there.
Yeah.
And as soon as they left, they put it back the way it was.
Wow. Were you making good money at this time? I mean, it seems like if you're winning GPs.
I signed for a lot of money to get on that. That Suzuki team paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
They paid for that number 2. And they paid to make sure that I didn't get anywhere near Stefan. That's basically, and they admit it.
Wow.
They straight up admitted it, that this was the easiest way for them to make sure I didn't beat Stefan. So.
Wow. Did he win the title that year?
No, he actually he got hurt. He ruptured his spleen. At the race in Germany, he ruptured his spleen, and it was like second or third round. And I'm thinking, cool, not cool that he got hurt, just cool that he's out, because now I get the good truck, I get the good mechanic, all this stuff, thinking it's going to come my way. Dude, they put me in a smaller truck. They, everyone went on vacation but me.
Oh.
I mean, it turned into a bigger joke. It was so bad. It was embarrassing.
So you just struggled through that season?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I had to. My contract said I had to race and qualify. I had to make the program. So that's about all I did. I basically just farted around all that whole season.
That sucks.
The last race in Japan, it was raining, so I hole shotted the second moto and made about 3/4 of a lap in first gear. Blew the bike up and left it sitting there. Just left it sitting in the middle of the track, walked back, and by the time I got to my truck, I was in my boxers. I just took off all my gear and just gave it to all the spectators and walked back in my boxers. I'm done. I'm going home. So
it's one way to depart.
Yeah, that's pretty standard, Mike Healey.
Adios,
I love
bitches.
it. Yeah,
yeah. Just now,
your bike's over there smoking, blown up.
I didn't even tell them that. They had to go find it. I wasn't even going to tell them where it was at. Screw them.
Like, where's Waldo? Where's your bike?
All right. Was that in Talavera?
In Japan?
No.
In Suzuka.
Oh, I thought you said...
the last round
I
was
thought
Suzuka.
you said Spain.
No, Suzuka.
Yeah,
So-
Suzuka. And it
so
rains a lot there, too.
Yeah, just left it out there in the middle of the track. And I mean, literally had like 1 or 2 ruts around the track, so I blocked all traffic. The thing just roached, and just left it right in the middle of the track. All right, I gotta go.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yep.
Okay, so you came home after that, right? Back to the States?
Yeah.
Did you have any talks with any teams in Europe, or what were your options at that point?
I basically wanted to come home. I was just kind of getting burnt out in Europe. A lot of Americans were showing up, and money was starting to get thin, and I was just kind of getting burnt out. So I actually, when I came home, I came into Mitch and sat down with Mitch and talked to him to see if I could ride for him. Because I was under the impression with the AMA ruling is if you've been out for like 5 years, you can actually come back and drop back down to the Pro-Am class from the 250s. I can't. I was over there 7 years. I'm not allowed to go down to the 125 Pro-Am class.
Why? That was just what the AMA said?
AMA, I pointed out. I can't. I'm not allowed to come. Only rider not allowed to come back. So
all right.
Bones
loves to tell this story.
Yeah,
you came back and
because I sat down with Mitch and stuff, and Mitch is like, well, we've seen you do Golden State and all that stuff. We know you can win and everything and do it. Let's put you out there with the big boys. What do you got to ride? Oh my God, I got a roached 125, my practice bike. And he said, "Oh, bring it in. Let's get it fixed and stuff. You got to get you to Steel City." All right, cool. So my buddy, Delgatti at the time, we just road tripped it.
Yeah,
we took probably a week and a half to get there.
Okay.
Showed up with beers all over the place and just having fun. We road tripped it.
So Bones' version of this is, they took your bike in, it was hammered.
Yeah,
just
roached.
Did the
Bad.
motor, exhaust, suspension, cleaned it up, tuned it up for you.
Yeah.
And they said you packed it into the back of a little minivan.
Yeah.
Like a little Astro van.
Yeah, my buddy had a lowered Astro van.
Of course it was lowered.
Slammed on the ground. It had an AM radio with no cassette player or nothing, just AM radio. And those Astro vans, they have a governor on them. 68 miles an hour. They shut off like a go-kart.
Oh, you're kidding.
So we 68 miles an hour, as fast as we can go.
That's a long trip to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
No wonder there was all the beer cans.
There was a lot of pissed off truck drivers on the way.
You're lucky it only took a week and a half.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so this was the last round of the Nationals, 92. You road trip.
There was one more after it. There was still what is it? There was one more after. There was Steel City.
Maybe
and
Binghamton? I can't remember. I thought Steel City was always the final round.
No. Shoot.
Maybe our producer.
Maryland.
Troy-
What's in Maryland?
Oh, Bud's Creek?
Bud's Creek. That was the last one. It was muddy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you go to that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the bike didn't run.
Oh, okay. So tell us the story of Steel City, though, because this is impressive. You'd been gone. You hadn't raced in the States for 5 years, seven years?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
You show up in an Astro van with beer cans spilling out, a Pro Circuit RM125.
And as we pull in, now Buzzard, Ray Tutterton is the team manager, and he waves us right into the Suzuki pits. We got to get you into the factory pits. Pull in, open up the doors, and beer cans fall out. So, literally turns around and goes, get out of here. You can't have you in this factory pit. So now I'm out in the privateer pits by myself, and first practice, I'm literally have to wear an open face helmet because I'm dry heaving. It was bad. Like I said, it was a road trip. We were having fun. And just kind of got it together for the motos.
Yeah.
The first moto, I think it was third or fourth, something like that. But I think I crashed in the first moto and just kind of did okay. But the second moto, I went wire to wire.
Won the second moto.
Yep.
Bones tells me he was on the side of the track cheering, and he goes, I was more happy for him than like our guys.
Yeah.
Well, and you beat them all, so
And
of course.
you got second overall, right?
Yeah. Mataspich, or not Mataspich, but Emig got the overall, but we went the whole, him and Larry Ward, were right on my butt the whole 30 minutes of the second moto. We hammered. It was good.
That's impressive to come back from hangover to that.
Tell me about it.
Hangover in a week and a half in a minivan.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't believe that after that performance, you don't have anybody talk to you at all about the next year.
Well, because I can't.
We can't ride the 125.
Everybody wanted me.
But you've already showed you could contend for a world title outdoors.
But if I could have rode Supercross, because that's where everybody wants their money. That's where it is. That's where they get the television coverage. That's where they get all the publicity. If I could have rode a 125 in Supercross or been on the lights team in Supercross, I would have had my choice of whatever I wanted to ride. But since I had to go back to 250s, and I really didn't do much in Supercross on 250, really didn't. So,
did you not really like Supercross? Did it not come natural to you, or just you were really young when you rode the 250 Supercross?
It just really wasn't my forte.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I took off and went to Europe.
Yeah.
And I kind of my racing grew up on the outdoor tracks. I grew up at Saddleback. I grew up on the rough, hard, nasty, slippery tracks. I didn't, when I was younger, I didn't have a Supercross track to go practice on like these kids do today.
Yeah.
All these guys have their own private tracks and stuff, and they get to go out and do all this stuff. I didn't have all that,
Yeah.
A Supercross track for me was out riding in the hills.
Yeah.
Go cliff jumping or something.
Yeah.
Working your timing.
Yeah. So it was tough for me, it was easier for me to go fast and, hang it out, on a rough track than it was for me to time something.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a different skill set. You see that now with the GP riders sort of overtaking us and being better motocross riders, and our guys have just focused so hard on Supercross.
Yeah, and that's because we have pushed so hard into Supercross here because that's what gets televised.
Yeah,
and that's what's bringing the money
that's
into
the
the
money is. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's where everything's at.
Yeah,
because how many outdoor races you see on TV?
Well, unless you have 4 different channels that you can't really catch them.
Even if you had 4 different channels, you got maybe 2 or 3 the whole year. You know what I mean? It's not a big thing. It's not like Supercross.
Yeah.
Supercross, you see the whole season.
Yeah.
Even if it is 4 rounds.
So what happened after that year? After the 92 season, you do those last couple of races.
Well,
what happened?
I ended up coming home, and I did the Nationals for Tough Racing.
Okay.
And literally started, that was the first year, or the last year that they had the 500s. They split it up with the 250s, did six rounds, and then the 500s did 6 rounds.
Right.
The first 6 rounds I was on Tough Racing on a 125, Suzuki 125. And we had some knucklehead doing our motors. Some dude from back east that just literally could not do anything. I'd lose a motor sitting on the stand. Warming the bike up before practice, the bike would seize. And this guy, they had burned so many bridges that I literally could not get parts from Suzuki or anything. And they were content just, go sign autographs. So when it came around to halfway, I think Glen Helen was the 6th race. So after Glen Helen, I actually rode a 250 at Glen Helen. I rode my own 250 at Glen Helen. And then I jumped into the 500 class and did a privateer, and I was top privateer that year.
Okay.
So I rode a Honda 500 for Brothers Honda out of Washington. They gave me a bike, and then I also bought a bike. And I was 5th overall that year in the 500 Nationals.
Okay.
And literally working on it, doing it all myself.
Full privateer mode.
Yep. So
Okay.
I did it all by myself. I mean, literally, like me and a buddy would fly in on Friday and fly out Sunday after the race. And I'd carry a gun case that had all my suspension in it, and I'd bring my suspension home for Bowens. You know, and carry a box, pipe, silencer, all that stuff that I can. Take it back, next Friday.
Wow.
Yep.
So where did that go? Did that lead to anything the following year?
Yeah, that was that's where the schools kind of started taking off and stuff. The racing kind of died. I just tired of, banging my head against the wall. Yeah. So that, I started doing some local stuff and doing some magazine testing and, some, desert racing and some Grand Prix and things like that. But it just kind of, faded away.
Did you have some money put in the bank? I mean, it seems like you had a few seasons in Europe where you're probably making...
I had money put away for a while. I mean, divorced 3 times. So
well, there you go.
That kind of hurts me now. But, yeah, I had a lot of money there for a while.
Yeah.
But so...
Divorce is gnarly, man. Half of your money just...
Well, the worst is all the wastage that goes to attorneys or mediators and crap like that.
Yep.
4-stroke nationals, you were doing some of those?
Yeah.
So that was just sort of one of the random different things of racing you were doing at that time?
Yeah, I rode for IMS. They make tanks and all that stuff,
Yep.
and they did the hop-up kit for the XR 400s back in the day and did like a 440 kit or something.
That's right.
So I helped them build an XR 400 one year and put a CR250 front end on it, rear end on it, and
Oh, yeah?
yeah, I mean, really
Pretty good.
Chrome ollie frame and everything, and well, took it to Daytona and faster than McGrath in practice, and Honda ended up black flagging me and taking me off because it wasn't homologated.
Come on.
The 450 was coming out the next year.
What year was that then?
It was right before the 450 came out.
01? Huh.
I don't know. It was a while back. I showed you that I had those pictures. I was wearing baggy gear and everything.
Well,
Yeah.
Honda came out in 02.
So it would have been 01.
01, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I mean, at the time, I didn't understand it, that about the homologate and all that, because it was only like $250. If they would homologate it, I could have raced. So I was a little irritated. Come on, dude. I'm riding your guys' bike. Let me do it. They would have had to wait another 4 years before bringing out the 450.
Oh.
So now I understand it and this and that, but, it's politics.
Do you feel like at the time, if you're looking back, you definitely had a rebel side. Did that hurt you? Like, do you think if you could have just towed the line and been more of a company man, you could have kept rides or got more rides, or no?
I mean,
Was it circumstantial shit where you were just like, I'm not going to do that?
well, of course. I mean, the factories are always looking for that clean cut, sportsman image.
The Bob Moores.
Yeah, the nice guys, the clean cut guys, this and that, but that's just not who I am.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And there's everybody and their brother has changed, for the sport
Also,
and that. And
I think in that era when you were racing, if you look at it, like the Japanese were pretty involved in the GPs, but this is just what I've understood and been told, they did not like tattoos on riders. Like it was.
Oh yeah, the Japanese.
When I went to Europe, I remember being told don't, especially if it's exposed. Like, don't ever get tattoos. They're like, it'll be harder for you to get a factory ride. If it comes down to you and one other guy and they think he's got a tattoo and he doesn't, it could be the deciding factor. I was like, really? I said, well, good for me. I didn't have any, but yeah, they really.
Did you find that? Did you get talked to about that at all? I mean, you told me about the sleeves cut off.
well, I got more trouble with that here than Europe. Europe, I could be myself. I mean, they didn't care basically what I did, how I looked.
I think, the Euros not so much. I'm more meant, but if the Japanese are the ones making the decisions, I was always under the impression that they were very against that.
They might have been. I know racing with Suzuki of America and stuff, I had trouble with their Japanese. But all the other times, Europe, I mainly rode with European teams.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say because, I mean, literally my back piece was drawn up by a tattoo artist from Japan. He's Japanese, that has done 9 million tattoos in Japan. So,
is that right?
Yeah. It's all traditional Japanese work. So.
Were you married with kids at this point? By like that 01?
Yeah, because I got married in like 93. So yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I got married young and then divorced young and married again young. And yeah.
Divorced again young?
Yeah, all the same chick.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You got married 3 times to the same woman?
Oh, yeah.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, I'm stupid.
Times 3.
I'm
You know what I need right
really
now?
dumb.
I need some abuse again. That's what I need. You know what I'm missing in my life?
Yeah,
a little bit of abuse.
I got steel toes on. Kick me in the nuts hard, please.
I don't think I've ever heard that. Somebody marrying the same woman 3 times.
Yep. Love of my life.
Now, hold on. You get divorced the first time. She takes half.
Yep.
Then when you get married again, when you divorce, she takes half again?
Yep.
Hey, wait, did she bring half back?
Nope.
She probably spent all that.
Oh yeah, she spent it all, and then she wanted a new wedding ring and everything.
Wow.
No, she got me good.
Are you guys cordial now?
Oh hell no. No.
Far beyond that.
Christmas
Yeah.
together? No Christmas together?
No.
Will there be a 4th time?
No.
Okay.
No.
At least we established
man.
that.
That's nuts. But you have how many kids?
Just
2?
one.
Oh, just one.
Yeah, just my daughter.
Daughter, right?
Yeah.
And she does hair, and that's kind of what got you into doing that.
Yeah.
How's she doing?
She's doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
She work at a salon in LA area? Or where were you telling me?
No, she works in Anaheim Hills.
Okay.
So yeah.
Wow, awesome.
That's nice and close.
Yeah.
So you had obviously some injuries like all of us did throughout your career. Pain pills kind of got a hold of you at one point, took you down a dark path.
Yep.
Take us through that because it got pretty dark for you for a little bit.
Well, I mean, it just career was over, doing the motocross schools and stuff, and you're just living in pain, you know. And you go to a pain doctor, because that's a doctor. You're supposed to trust him and everything. And next thing you know, he's giving you so many fucking pills, you don't know what to do. You're swimming in pills, And then next thing you hear, it's wrong to be taking pills. So you don't take them, now you're sick.
Yeah.
And coming off of them is horrible.
Horrible.
It's the worst in the world. I wouldn't want anybody to do that. I mean, it sucks.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's so common in our sport because everybody is so beat up when you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, most people.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
and the doctors here are just so quick to write them out. You just say, yeah, I kind of have like a sore. Oh, here's some Norcos. What do you need? Here, tell me what you need more.
It's definitely changed a lot in the last few years. I'd say seems like the last 4, 5, 6 years, it's really been, hey, be careful. But before
that's
that,
'cause a lot of doctors have been thrown in jail and stuff in prison.
and they're seeing the fact that if people aren't aware, that it can ruin a society if everyone's just you had your wisdom teeth pulled, there you go. I've heard of people just from wisdom teeth being pulled, it threw them down a dark path because same thing.
And then you have that addictive personality. Next thing you know, you're taking 10 of them a day. And then if you're not getting them anymore, then what are you going to do? You got to go find the next best thing.
Yeah.
Now you're chasing heroin around. And who wants to do that?
Yeah, that's gnarly. Is that what ended up happening with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Heroin?
Oh, it was bad, yeah. Real bad.
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
And then at some point you ended up going to jail.
Just and I kind of beat the tar out of some dude. He stole a bunch of stuff from me, and it all had to deal with drugs and stuff. So I ended up, leaving him laying in a parking lot, almost dead. And that was one of the deals. And this girl I was dating, being broke and everything, trying to find money to get well again. Talked me into stealing a purse. Anybody that knows me knows that that's the last thing in the world I'd ever do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not me.
That's that saying, desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah. And so, I mean, literally, like, I asked the lady for a purse. I mean, it just crazy. I mean, I look back at it and it's insane.
It takes control of you.
Yeah.
So what you got? What was your sentence with that?
It started at 35 to life.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, I was fighting a life sentence, yeah. First time ever being arrested.
For theft or like?
Well, attempted murder.
Oh, with a guy.
Because it was the two cases together. I had attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, kidnapping, hostage, terrorist threats, GBI, strong arm robbery. I mean, it's stacked
through
up.
the book, huh?
Yeah. That was the first time I've ever been arrested. First time ever in trouble.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's scary.
Yeah.
So you just get off for good behavior? Did you have an attorney that
No, I fought it. I was in jail for a couple years fighting it, and then instead of going to prison the first time, I went to a program. I did 2 years in a program up in L.A.
Okay.
And came out of the program and had a PO that I butted heads with from the get-go. She wanted me to date her, and I wouldn't date her, because she's a cop. And so she ended up violating me. Like every 2 weeks, she'd violate me and have to throw me back in jail. And finally, the judge went, you know what? We're just going to hold you until we figure out what we're doing with you. Kept me in jail, like forgot about me for 2 years. Sat in there, then finally the DA, pulls me out and says, hey, tells the judge, he's been here for 2 years on an alleged dirty test. And so the judge, this isn't good, So they basically retried my case, and everything except for kidnapping dropped.
Okay, that's good.
And I had to go upstate for like 6 months or whatever. And then, when I got out of that, I had 5 years. 5 years, I think, on parole.
Okay.
And I got done with that in 3 years, for good behavior stuff and all that. So, yeah.
What's jail? Is jail gnarly? What's it like in there?
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible. It sucks. I don't ever want to go again.
Yeah.
So.
Well, do you look at it like if you had not gotten caught, where would you have gone? Maybe you wouldn't even be alive today? I mean, in a way.
I'm lucky that I was alive to that point. The stuff I was doing and things I was doing, I shouldn't have been alive. Yeah. I'm surprised somebody didn't kill me. Or the drugs I was taking didn't kill me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I'm really lucky to be alive. And, if I didn't get caught, who knows? I could have killed somebody.
Right.
So, yeah, it could have been really bad.
Oh, that's heavy, man. So tell me about how your daughter, you were actually in jail when she came to you and kind of said, hey, she was a stylist, right?
Yeah, she got her cosmetology license and everything when I was sitting in prison. And I talking with her and my mom and stuff, and just trying to figure out what I was going to do when I got out, because I didn't want to go back and hang around the same people and stuff. I didn't want to go back into that
fresh start. Yeah.
And so basically when I got out, I wanted to rip up my phone book and everything and just start all new.
Yeah. And
she was a Cosmo, and she just told me, how much fun she's having doing hair and stuff. And she said, Dad, you'd love it, dude. And, this is cool. And maybe, if you do it, maybe we can get a shop together or work together and stuff. And that's what got me. It kind of brought tears to my eyes,
Yeah.
My daughter wants to work with her old man that's sitting in prison, Here I'm thinking I'm the biggest pile of, crap in the world, and, she wants to, help me.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
So you did. You got out, got your barbering license, and running your own shop now.
Yeah, I was out November 26th, I was out. And I think the first week of January, I was at Paul Mitchell.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, literally in 2 months, I did everything I could to get in.
Yeah.
That's the go-to place, right? Paul Mitchell is like the one that is kind of like the gold standard for doing that stuff.
Well, they're probably one of the best schools around, I would say.
Very international as well.
Yeah.
And I was told coming into doing everything, when I was coming into Paul Mitchell, being a convicted felon and having strikes and stuff, they don't have to let me take the test, you know, and get my license. The state board could just say, you know what, take a hike. And so
Even after you've gone through the schooling?
I could have graduated from Paul Mitchell and then applied to get my license and take my test. State board could have told me, you know, take a hike.
Right.
You know, but what I told them at Paul Mitchell was that basically I wanted to learn from the best. And if it came down to it at the end, and they're not going to let me take my test, and I got to go out on the street and hustle and do my own deal, which I'm doing anyways. I got my own shop and all that stuff, doing my thing. You know, I at least want to have Paul Mitchell on my resume.
Yeah.
I want to be able to know that I learned from the best, doing everything the right way.
Yeah.
And so they kind of liked that, you know, and I took it that way. And you know what? State board says no.
Did they say no?
No.
Oh,
no.
okay.
No, I had teachers writing letters and stuff. When
cool.
it came down to it, I mean, there was no question. I mean, I really had a good time at Paul Mitchell. So
Was it tough?
yeah, it was tough.
Yeah. There's a lot to it. I don't know if people really get it.
I went back to school at over 40-something years old.
Yeah.
I mean, I was scared to death.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I'd be nervous going back to school. I'd feel so out of place.
I mean, literally, I'm scared to death, but I'm coming straight out of prison. And so I already got a chip on my shoulder. My back's up to the wall. You know, I'm already thinking, you know, prison style.
You've already had the fear put in you.
Well, I made friends with a couple people there, and they're like, dude, the first like month or two, I thought you were gonna kill somebody. Like just the look in my eye, like I had that stare. So I was gonna kill people.
Jeez.
Because I just watched everybody. You know, that's the way it is in prison. You just got to keep an eye on everything. So.
Wow. How's that business going anyway?
I mean, it's good. It's good. I got, you know, a lot of good clients and all that stuff. With everything that's going on with COVID and everything, that kind of hurts, you know, because they shut everything down for a while. And they don't know if they're going to open up or close down and this and that. And so it's kind of slowed things down. But, you know, it comes and goes.
Yeah.
So
Where's your shop now?
in my garage,
Oh, cool.
Costa Mesa, yeah.
Yeah. And you've got a website for that, or an Instagram page, or what?
Yeah, my Instagram page is basically my whole portfolio and everything.
And it's at Healey Barber 99.
Healey Barber 99.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, listen, in California here, government officials are getting their hair cut and everything. It's okay. You should hit up the government. They'll come down and get their hair cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, but I'm afraid if I, you know, advertise or say something, state board's going to show up and charge me a couple thousand for it. So
yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to run a business nowadays is a real crime.
Yeah, that's crazy. So.
Yeah, we could go on and on for a while about that. It pisses all of us off. I mean, my wife runs her own salon too, so trust me, I get it.
You know exactly where I'm at. Mm-hmm. So,
well, I hope people that are in the LA area, greater area, will check you out if they need a haircut. You're also doing some coaching.
Yeah,
I've been doing that for a long time. I've been
doing that for a long time. I was probably one of the first coaches around here.
Yeah.
Actually, when you were coming up through the ranks, I was coaching.
Yeah.
I was probably throwing rocks at you out there at the track a few times.
Probably were.
So, I still do it. It's not my big thing. I really enjoy cutting hair.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought, down the road I would love cutting hair.
Yeah, but it actually fits you, though, because you have to be, from just watching my wife work, you got to be creative.
Yeah.
And you have to be social.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I listen to her if I'm inside working or something. It's just nonstop.
That's part of the experience.
All day.
Yeah.
But she loves that. She's very social, and they become her friends.
Yeah.
Her
and
clients,
everybody
her
that's
buddies.
been in my chair, that's what they say, man. They say it's just an afternoon of bench racing.
Yeah. Well, and you showed us a picture. You use a toolbox as all of, like, you have all your scissors and shears and all that stuff in there. I'm like, that's great. Yeah, it's like a little moto hair salon.
Oh yeah, I got trophies in there and all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So how does somebody get a hold of you if they want to do some coaching, just training with you?
Well, they can go on
same place, Instagram.
Yeah, go on Instagram. Okay. You can get a hold of me through that or Facebook or whatever. And my phone number is all over my page.
Okay. So real easy to contact you that way.
Yeah, they can either get me on Facebook or Instagram, or they just call me. So
okay. Yeah. Well, cool. I hope they will. I've seen you at the track with a few guys, and always good bump into you out there. When you look back at your career, actually, before we get there, you went back, you said, and did a race in Italy, and you actually died on the track. You were telling me this story off air, and I wanted to hear it.
I was announced dead on the track, yeah.
What? So what year was that? You said you went back.
I want to say maybe, I don't know, maybe 97 or so.
Okay.
Because I was only home for a couple of years. And my mechanic from 91, I had an English mechanic, Graham Kent.
Okay.
Got a hold of me and asked me to come back and do one more time. Just try to get that title, and let's do it in a 500.
Okay.
And he goes, I got Ferrioli on our team. I got KTM on our team. We got everything together. Just need you to come back, And my daughter was only 6 months old. I was, remarried again, of course. And I told him, I said, hey, you got to talk to her. If she says I can go, then I'll start training. Let's go. And he begged her to let me go, come back one more try. And I got back there probably 2 or 3 months, just before we were to start the first race. Started training, everything got it dialed.
How were you riding? Were you still
yeah. Well, I at that time I was, young and healthy and stuff. I was still riding in my schools and everything.
Yeah.
So I ride all the time. And so it wasn't like I was just a little bit out of shape. I had to get back into doing motos and things.
Right.
So it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard to get back up to speed and stuff.
Okay.
And this was actually the first time that I had taken points at the first round. I mean,
Okay.
I think I took fourth overall or something like that for the weekend. Qualifying on Saturday, like I was fastest in my group, and they gave us a watch, like really nice Italian watch and stuff. And so, everything was good. And then Sunday, the first moto I kept heat season a motor. Like this whole weekend we had trouble with the motors like seizing up on us and stuff. So following Tuesday we decided we need to go testing while we're down here in Italy with Ferrioli and stuff. We got to test and get this motor shit together. And sure enough, we're out testing and this track had some big downhills and stuff. And it started raining and I came around the corner, spun the bike around backwards on this hard marbly dirt and went off backwards off the drop-off and landed on top of me. The bike into my chest and everything, I guess, and just didn't stop till I hit the bottom. I don't remember it or anything. I never wore a chest protector or, back protector or anything like that. I mean, the most protection I ever wore was a kidney belt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't wear a full-face helmet if I didn't have to.
Right.
So, my mechanic told me that basically he was holding my head in his lap. I had blood coming out my ears, my nose, my eyes. And he said, I just looked up at him and tell my wife and daughter I love them. And I was out.
Wow.
And next thing I remember, I woke up in just coming out of a surgery. So, but my mechanic said that literally they had pulled a blanket over my head, announced me dead, and he was in the back of the ambulance, like hand in his, his head in his hands, crying. How is he going to tell, hold my wife and tell her I'm dead?
Yeah,
and he just begged her to have me come back over.
Her in. Yeah, jeez.
Yeah. Now how is he going to explain this? And they, I guess, put the ambulance in reverse, and they hit a bump, and I coughed up a blood clot, like it jarred me or something, and coughed up a big old blood clot, and came to, sat up screaming and yelling.
Wow.
PO'd at the world, not ready to go.
But you had a flail segment, a bunch of ribs broken.
I shattered all 4 sections. My ribs were just puzzle pieces. They literally had to go in and just bit and piece my ribs back together.
That's painful.
And 7 days I walked out of the hospital in Italy. On the 8th day I flew back home. And within 14 days I was back on the bike at the next GP.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And I was the fastest in qualifiers because you only have to do 1 lap. And the first moto coming around the first turn, I was second behind Joel Smets, and he picked up a rock about that big, hit me dead square in the chest. Dude, I just rolled over and just fell there crying. Dude, I just thought I was dead again. Just crying. And literally, my mechanic just cussed me out. And everything you could imagine. I was the biggest wussy you could imagine. So if you're going to talk that way to me and think that much of me, after what I've just been through, I'm done. We went back to Belgium where I was living. Literally packed on a carry-on, drove my truck to Brussels, to the airport. I left the keys in the front of my car right there on the curb, walked in, got on a plane, flew home.
That was it?
Never talked to him again.
Is that right?
Never talked to him again.
Wow. That's heavy.
Interesting.
I put my life on the line for them, and that's the way they're going to treat me.
Yeah. That seems a little disrespectful on their part for sure.
Yeah. And my wife and daughter are more important to me than that. So,
Jeez, that's gnarly.
I mean, and I rushed getting back. I mean, the doctor said I should have probably still been in a hospital bed.
Right.
I mean, literally within 14 days, I was back on a bike.
No, nothing heals in 2 weeks. I mean,
no, not even a collarbone.
That painful.
No.
Not even a collarbone. I mean,
no.
I raced with them broken, but
Yeah.
I'd rather ride with a broken collarbone after 14 days in my whole rib cage.
Yeah. Well, even a cracked rib, a separated rib in 2 weeks, that still hurts.
Yeah.
Every time you cough, sneeze, sit up, roll over, it turns you into a big pussy.
Oh, I've never sneezed so much in my life either. After that, after I got out of the hospital, man, I would have sneezing attacks just constantly, for no reason.
Yeah. Probably because you knew you didn't want to sneeze.
Yeah.
Don't sneeze. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Here it comes.
Yeah, I know that.
Or you lay down in bed and you finally get comfortable or something, and you're like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
You got to use your muscles to sit up.
It takes like a half an hour to get out of bed because you got to find a way to roll over and sit up. And
I don't miss that.
No, not at all. Well, man, you've had an incredible career. Like I said, I was really interested to go through your GP stuff because I didn't know all that.
Yeah.
Is there anything in all of it you do different? I mean, we all have our things, but
well, I mean, the one thing that I probably would have done different is I probably would have been more serious about training. Because, I mean, really out of my whole career and everything, maybe 2 or 3 years out of the...
Where you were really dialed in.
That I was serious.
Yeah.
Where if I would have taken 10 years and was serious about it, how many more titles I could have had and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And if I would have been more patient like Bobby and those guys are and just been content with a second and third, I was always under the theory to where it was first or nothing.
Ricky Bobby style.
Exactly. And that's kind of the way I was raised, was basically second ain't worth nothing. Second place trophy don't mean shit.
Mm.
So I've always raced for first. And if I wasn't in first, I was dead last. I was broken or hurt.
Mm.
So if I would have learned early just to settle down a little bit and taken second or third or, just points, it would have paid off a lot more.
Yeah, I get that. In a way, though, that's probably what made you so good, though, that drive to win, right? I mean, there's a balance there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I would go out and change it. I'm just saying, those are things that would make differences. Things are the way they are because I am who I am.
Right.
And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Tough shit if people don't like it.
Good, bad, and indifferent, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we kind of asked this of all of our guests. It's sort of our closing question is, how do you want to be remembered in this sport?
I think it's already been taken care of. Just seeing that, like when I was younger, I always wanted just someone to remember me, like after I retired and stuff, and just someone to remember me and just tell me I was cool, I was a good racer and stuff, whatever. Give me a high five for what I did.
Yeah.
Well, I think you got that going for you.
And
most people would agree with that.
And literally, like, I'm probably bigger today, like, because of social media and all that stuff. My fan base and all that is bigger today and stronger today than it was when I was a kid, when I was racing. Mm-hmm. So it's already happened.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm good.
You're a legend over there, man. I mean, and the photos you were showing me, which we'll post on our Instagram and the Whiskey Throttle page Instagram, so cool. Just, like I said, if you had cleaned it up and tried to act like a clean cut.
Yeah, it's just not me.
It's just not you.
Oh.
And you being you is what made you cool, you know.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you were ridiculously fast. Yeah, not a lot of Americans go over and win GPs, let alone damn near win championships. So
Yeah, I didn't get the title, but you know what? I was there. I was close.
thanks a lot, Jeff Stanton. Well, hey, man, I'm proud to call you a friend. I'm stoked you came in. It's been
Thank
a
you.
work to get you here. I know you're busy, but we sure
you.
appreciate you taking the time, man.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
No problem.
All right, Mike. That's Mike Healey. Stay tuned. We'll be back to wrap up the show.
I want nights where it feels so nice. Something in a photo. Right now, right now, right now. Let's do this right. Go slow out of moonlight. It's still shining. One day I'ma let go. Yeah, one day I'ma let go. Everyone's using me, but maybe that's something I like. Yeah, I've been on something since last month, but I'm feeling alright. Maybe I'm blind to see. Maybe I'm losing my mind. 'Cause I've been on something since last month, but I don't feel alright. It's me against myself. It's me against myself. I'm starting to black out, yeah. I'm staring at the stars. Running from myself. I'm running from myself. I'm starting to black out, yeah. I've been staring at the stars. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to the Whiskey Throttle Show. That was Mike Healey. What a cool story. I've been wanting to hear that for a long time, and I don't think people here, if you're a U.S. racing fan, unless you knew him personally or you really follow GPs, I don't think people know how good he was.
I think too, he even mentioned maybe he wished he would have trained a little bit harder, more frequently. But you often hear that, I think, from the riders that had so much natural talent, they got away with a lot of these things. I mean, even he said, showed up in the car, slept here, was at the beer tent, and he still was winning and podiuming a lot of these events.
Also, you know, I mean, not to take away from it, but the truth is, in those days, the formula we have now for guys getting in shape, it was still kind of in its infancy there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was no science to it. It
No
was just
science. It's like go run,
ride,
go bike, maybe lift some weights, and then go do whatever else.
But if you look at, I mean, one, he's over there competing for world championships, didn't score any points in the first six motos and still damn near won that title. Like, if he had just gotten any points, he's champion, right? If Stanton had come over, he's champion. That's crazy. And then to show up over here on a pro circuit, 125, drive a minivan to Pennsylvania, drink who knows how many beers, and show up and
win a moto.
Go 3-1 against Emig and like all the best guys of the time. Like, that doesn't just happen.
You know, these guys all have a common thread. It's their, and I don't mean bad, but it's their attitude that they go there and like, today I'm going to kick these guys' asses, you know?
Yeah, it's a mental.
It's like showing up at the track with a chip on your shoulder that day. And it's like, you know what? I'm just going to beat everyone today. Kind of like Marty Tribes.
His dad sounded like he was pretty hardcore. You know his dad at all?
I mean, I didn't hang around his dad and him a lot.
Yeah, for obvious reasons.
But at the races I did, and I did see a lot of conflict for sure.
You didn't want to have to rub your blisters in the dirt?
Yeah, like I said, when he was at Carlsbad, and it was 100+ degrees, and he cut his holes on it, he just flipped out. It was like, like, Dad, like, I'm getting these for free, and it's hot out, and
yeah, well, and
and so you could see why he's rebelling too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even whatever, getting tattoos at 16, and he had them.
He was, because I was always, my dad was very professional and clean cut and whatever, so I kind of fell into that line, and I would look at guys like him and think, man, that dude's cool. Like, he didn't give a shit about what anyone thought.
No.
He'd run whatever hair, tattoos, like, he just did not care.
No.
And there's something cool about that, You may not agree with it. You may not want to live your life that way, but like, even J-Law, how many people still love him because he just did what he wanted to do?
It's their general attitude that, yeah.
And the thing about Mike is he was a genuinely sweet guy, too.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, yeah.
He's not an asshole,
No.
but if you look at him, you're like, whoa. You know what I mean? Back in the day, just tats and long hair.
I'm telling you, we're hanging out with him, and he's one of the, like, literally premier guys in the world at whatever bike he's on, and we're out doing, like,
ice blocking.
just crazy stuff. I mean, I can't go into a lot of detail, but,
Yeah, he was telling us, you guys, he would climb into ice block machines and steal cubes of ice out of it.
we get, like, because he was the littlest guy at that time, so he's like, Mike, go up there and he'd come out. Dude, those holes aren't very big, and he'd come out with a block of ice, and we'd go take them.
Well, cool
At
guy.
least you guys were stealing some expensive, high-end items that last forever.
There was one machine. It's in Corona. It was on like Lincoln and whatever, that main street that goes through there, and you just go in there. We knew there was ice going to be in there, so you would always go over there and get them.
That's funny. We don't have a sponsor spotlight today, so I'm going to chat a little bit about the company that I am invested in called Paleo Ranch Foods. If you guys aren't familiar with it, go check them out. They make a full line of jerky products, beef jerky, bacon jerky, which is insane, all kinds of bars. There's a skinny bar and a mega bar that are all paleo certified, non-GMO. All their beef, all their meat products are grass-fed, grass-finished, no antibiotics. Very, very, very clean food. And I get involved just because I eat a lot of bars. Just I'm on the go, whether it's at the fire station or going to the track or on a bicycle ride. And I didn't like the crap that's in like a Cliff Bar or some of this other stuff. And like I said, these are incredibly clean. They taste good. We've got a lot of moto guys.
They taste really good. Most of the stuff, especially like you said, the bacon jerky, right?
Oh.
There's something about, I don't know, more of a pork. It's got some sort of sweetness to it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's all, pre-cooked and done. You just take it out and eat it straight out of the bag, or like I'll crumble it on macaroni and cheese, or put it on burgers. Put it on.
Dude, I constantly put it on burgers. I do.
I'm gaining weight just hearing this story.
It's super good. I can't say enough good things about it. You can find them. They gotten into Walmart. They're kind of expanding their product line in there. Obviously available on Amazon if you look there, and you can go to paleoranchfoods.com and just buy it off their website. So lots of places to get it. Amazing product, and it's some of the owners are in this industry, including Andrew Short, myself, Donnie, Randy Richardson, for those who know that guy, that wingnut. Anyway,
Senior citizen.
Yep. Lots of good moto people who've invested into it, and Simon Cudby, another one. So anyway, cool industry company.
All the best people.
Right, all the best
Sorry,
people.
GL.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. No, I'm kidding.
So anyway, check them out if you're looking for healthy snacks. Maybe if you do those kind of same things and you're looking for bars, or you want to try some incredible beef jerky and bacon jerky. Check them out.
They're just great, tasty, healthy snacks to have around.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, you can buy in bulk at Costco, but sometimes you're not getting as good of a quality of a product as you should be. So.
Well, how much of the stuff you get from Costco goes to waste anyway? You buy in bulk to save money, and then you don't use it all.
Except toilet paper nowadays.
Yeah, that's pretty.
We all need so
impressive.
much of that.
I put a bidet in my house, so you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know those were for women, right?
I don't care.
Okay. Just letting you know. It's for your wife,
When
right?
you guys, that's right. When you guys are all freaking out at Costco and there's no toilet paper, I'm golden.
I got a hot tub in a pool. I go dip my ass in there and just shake
I also got a big stack of wet wipes.
Yeah,
I get those too.
Solves every problem.
I can't poop without cleaning them up with wet wipes now. I don't feel right.
Yeah, no.
I've gotten so addicted to them. If I just use toilet paper, I'm like, I'm dirty.
Hey,
I got to take a
he
shower.
doesn't have any pings on the street like, I need some wet wipes.
It's a problem. I don't feel right. I'm like, nope, it's dirty.
So we have toilet paper. Nope.
No.
Doesn't replicate it.
Sir,
Look,
sir, why are you out here on the street with a gun? I'm out of wet wipes.
I'm going to give you a wet wipe challenge. Do this. Clean up as you normally would, as per usual, after a number 2. Then, when you think it's clean, wipe as much as you want. When you think I am all polished up,
A wet wipe challenge.
wipe clean and give it a strike with a wet wipe. And if there's not some doo-doo on that, I will kiss your ass because your butt's not clean. It's not. There you go. That's the word of the day.
This is the worst segment we've ever had in our lives.
No, it's epic. All right.
Jerky to buttholes.
Yeah, well, it's all interconnected.
Well, speaking of
from
buttholes,
mouth-
let me take us out of this scene. Oh, all right. Anyway, let's reset. So that was our show. Thank you to everyone for tuning in, listening, watching.
Thank you for wet wipes.
Yep. And to Ping's new challenge. All right. As we roll out, we couldn't do this without our sponsors. Thank you to Yamaha. They've just been on a roll lately, crushing it in sales. Their new 250 is available. A lot of hype around that as well. PowerDot. Now, we've mentioned it before, with a lot of places being closed. Great, affordable way to tune yourself up whenever you feel like it. Use code Whiskey Throttle for 20% off. It's well worth it. You'll get your money's worth out of this before Christmas if you order it now. Method Race Wheels, just the strongest, fastest, lightest wheels around. They dominate in every form of racing they get in. They test in the toughest conditions, like out desert racing, where they just beat these trucks up, and they seem to cross the finish line before all their competitors. So that's no stroke of luck. It's because they build great product. Troy Lee Designs, they got some all their new 2021 line out now. They've come out with quite a nice selection. I always feel like with TLD, they kind of hit the mild to wild. I love their corporate colors as well. They've done deals with Honda, Yamaha, obviously now with their gas lines. They've had the KTM. So a lot of people, I know, at least at the dealership, we sold a lot of their collab merchandise, as well as the gear you can match head to toe. And then there's some stuff where you can cross over. Maybe one pair of pants can go with 2 or 3 jerseys if you're that kind of person who likes to keep it simple. So something there for everyone. Check them out either at your local dealer or online.
Yeah, the mix and match stuff is cool because you can buy one pair of pants and then like 2 or 3 jerseys that go with it, and it's like you have a different kit on every time. Like, so for the price of 3 jerseys, 1 pant, you get 3 full sets.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty dope.
Mix it up.
Yeah.
SKDA, they make great graphics. Obviously, their styling, their creativity, I think it's just been next level. They've sort of changed the game, in my opinion. I know both Ping and I are big fans of these guys. They just sent some new graphics for me and my son. So I'll post some pictures of that, just clean and nice. It's so easy, too. I just say, yeah, I like that. Throw some of our logos on something like that, and then they send it. What do you think for a, proof? And I'm like, print, please.
Done. Yeah, done.
Print and send. And they are fast. I know they come out of Australia, but within a week I had my graphics. So,
and they're also very professional. Where the minute that it's shipped, you get a notification.
It tells you the whole track.
Yeah. Hey, it's over the Pacific Ocean right now.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed. And you can even do that. Yeah, I don't want to sign for it. Just leave it at the front doorstep, or you can sign for it if you're worried, if you live in a dodgy neighborhood.
Now they do it right.
So thanks to SKDA for coming on board, and thanks to you guys for supporting them. Dunlop, Ping mentioned it earlier, these guys have won everything. They've never backed out of our sport. And I like seeing people come to the store and asking specifically for Dunlop tires. They know what to run, and Dunlop probably just flat out the best tire. What's your combo again?
I like the 53 front with the 33 rear.
I'm old school. I just go 53, 53.
Do
I
you?
noticed that the other day. Yeah.
You like more of a hard pack tire?
I don't know. I think maybe because a lot of these tracks, when you get our local tracks, when the ruts start packing in, you get a little bit of hardness. And I'm someone that Also, I don't want to wear myself out, so I ride a taller gear and kind of lug it everywhere, and I feel like the harder pack tire, you get away with more there. So I like it. Like you said, everyone's got a different combo, right?
Yeah.
But thanks to those guys for, 1, supporting the sport, and 2, supporting the show.
Well, and I will say, try the 53, regardless of what rear you run, because that carcass is designed to flex a little bit more, but not roll. And so you get a softer
I like the feel.
Yeah, you get a much more kind of progressive feel to it without any kind of roll. So even if you like a hard pack tire, I like the 33 just because it's more aggressive in a straight line. But, man, either way, that 53 front, I think, is a game changer.
Yeah, no, good all-round feel. Pro Circuit, they race, they win, they do great products. Great having Mitch on. Always a couple laughs and some good stories with him. So check out Pro Circuit. Also on their social media, they always have item of the week, and there's just some screaming deals out there.
At Pro Circuit 78 on Instagram,
Yeah.
and they announce deals of the week. And if you've got a bike in that range, man, they're blowing stuff out.
And they've always got something new, and obviously getting more involved in that 110 market. So check them out. Another one of those. There's always something new, like Nahilo. Enter code Whiskey Throttle to check out to get a free gift. Every time you see these guys, they just look like they're always making something cool. It looks expensive, but it looks fun.
Yeah.
Every time they do it, but
Those guys
great
do
product.
good work, yeah.
Specialized, just the best bicycle brand if you're into traditional downhill cross country. Those guys have been dominant, and now in the e-bike market, they've been just the leaders there. And they also had an incredible year. A lot of stuff out of stock, but I know a lot of their new product coming in. So keep an eye out. You'll see things changing on their website soon. And then Seat Concepts. Those guys make just great product, always coming out with new ideas. Ping had mentioned it earlier in the show. You know, if you're in areas where the weather could be, you're riding in more wet terrain or maybe some snow, these all-proof seats are pretty sweet. I mean, a lot of times you take an old bike, you take the seat cover off, the foam is it's nasty. It's corroded. It falls apart. It's not good, and it's not going to do you any favors. Because that's the other thing. If you've got a seat that's collapsing underneath you, your riding position is not even the right spot. So seats are actually pretty important.
It's a pretty big deal. And they're also, I tell people the longer that you ride, the more important it is. I don't skimp on a mattress because I spend a third of my life on that thing, right? So I want the nicest, most comfortable thing I can get.
Yeah, you'll spend money on that.
Yeah, so the seat, I think it gets overlooked a lot, but man, if you're doing adventure riding or off-road or you just moto a lot, it's a big part of it, and they custom make these foams based on your weight and your riding ability. It's really incredible how much thought goes into it, developing them. And once you ride on one of these, you'll feel it. Yeah. That's all I can say. You will feel, wow, this is way nicer.
They're also having a cracker of a year, so if you're looking to get your seats, get your orders in now. They do have a slight backup, but so do a lot of people in the industry. And then Paleo Ranch Foods, Ping told you about them, great company, and Langston Motorsports trying to bring you all the latest power sport products.
That's it.
That's our show.
We love it. You can pretty much get all these things at Langston Motorsports. So if you're a local, make it happen. We thank you guys for watching. It's been a fun year, kind of a weird year, but we've had some cool shows going on the road. It's been interesting. It's been tough, but thank you guys for hanging in there with us. We hope we've brought some kind of relief for people stuck at home or just tired of all the bullshit that's going on. And I think we got one more coming for the rest of this year, and then we'll get started 2021 and hit it hard. So anyway, we sure appreciate all the support. Thank you guys very much. For GL and Donnie, I'm Ping. We'll see you guys next time.